And good evening from Trojan Stadium on the campus of California High School. CUTV welcomes you to their 30th season of covering high school football. And tonight, it's a special, for the first time ever, a Week 0 matchup here between two local Mon Valley WPIAL teams, between Brownsville and California High School. Hello and welcome to the broadcast, everybody. My name is Matt Hagee. Alongside of me is Anthony DiAgostino. And Anthony, this is something that has never been done in Pennsylvania high school football before, but Week 0, and it's between two schools that are facing for the first time. They're just separated by like 5 miles, too.
Yeah, the river rivalry. Try saying that 3 times. It's a little tongue twister there. Brownsville versus California. Great matchup. August matchup, and you mentioned that this is the first time really for PIAA school to be able to do this. This is PIAA across the entire state doing this because they changed their classification system from 4 classifications to 6.
And there's a lot of school. There's 34 games going on tonight and between tonight and tomorrow for this special Week 0, and this is just one of them. And it was kind of a late thing that was all put together with everybody getting used to the 6 classifications. Brownsville staying in AA, Cal High School staying in single A, but there was a lot of shuffling between the normal conferences they're in. Cal stayed in the Tri-County South Conference, and Brownsville stayed in the Interstate. But Brownsville has some new friends with them, like Best Center and Frazier, teams that used to play Cal High School in single A.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how this season shapes up with these new classifications, as it looks like the Trojans will be kicking off to start the first half, and Brownsville will be going right to left.
Looks like back to receive for the Falcons will be Lucas Ham and also Tyler Herman.
As the first high school football game of the week comes here on CUTV. Can't wait to broadcast.
30 years, and we are underway. Dustin Mock gets to kick off for the Trojans. That's going to go over the head and into the end zone.
For almost 30 years, CUTV has been the campus and community home for local news, sports, and entertainment. Broadcast in 100,000 homes in southwestern Pennsylvania, CUTV provides complete coverage of Vulcan sports as well as high school football coverage. Broadcast weekly live, CUTV News Center provides coverage of local and campus events, weekend weather, sports highlights, and feature stories. For more information on CUTV, check us out on the web, friend us on Facebook, or follow us on Twitter.
Brownsville will start at the 20. Jake McCormick lines up under center, sophomore 6'5" quarterback for Brownsville. This is his first season, and doing the game last year against Burgettstown, he could definitely like to have a presence out there. He hands the ball off to Herman, the tailback. He gets wrapped up immediately. Host of Trojans there. And it looks like he lost a yard on the play.
Yeah, great job by the Trojans defensive line there, breaking through the blocking scheme for Brownsville. Actually a loss of a yard there. And Matt, this is a great matchup. 2 teams that never met each other.
2 teams that never met each other, but like I said, separated by the Monongahela River, as McCormick lines out of the shotgun here, 2nd down and 11. And penalty flag there. Looks like the receiver there on the near side kind of lunged forward, and that brought up the false start.
And that was number 6 for California. And just looked like he misread the snap count there, and false start. He looked like he was down on a track stance.
Yeah,
when he started there.
I wondered what was going on there. It's DeJour Thomas for the Falcons, and that backs them up even more. And they were already working their way back after losing a yard. Now it's 2nd down. It looks like they'll call it a 2nd down and 15. And for Brownsville, they had 2 wins last season, finished the season 2-7, which it doesn't seem like a lot, but considering how it's been going recently for Brownsville, that was a very successful season, and they played competitive in very much of their games. Program on the rise as McCormick hands off here to Herman here on 2nd down, plows ahead for a couple of yards here, sets up a 3rd and long. But Anthony, like I said, we saw Brownsville in the last week of the season against Burgettstown, and they almost ruined Burgettstown's season.
Yeah, they almost did it down to the wire, and it was a very close game the entire time, and ended up giving Burgettstown the playoff berth.
Burgettstown no longer in the Interstate Conference. Brownsville now lines up 3rd and 13 McCormick back to pass. He looks under pressure. Rolls out of the pocket. Fires. Pass is caught. And he will be short of the first down. So a good effort there on third down for the Falcons.
It looks like he got to about the 29-yard line. We'll see where they spot it exactly. So it'll be about a 4th and 3 for the Falcons. We'll see if they go for it or punt it here.
That was Mason Kelly there on the catch here. Looks like Brownsville will be punting. I mean, you got to believe here with 10:55 here in the first quarter. Don't want to take any risks now, especially to see what the defense can do here.
And got to remember, for both of these teams, it's basically almost a scrimmage. However, it does count for standings.
Yeah, the teams had the option of having a second scrimmage or actual full game conditions. Another penalty flag comes out right before Lucas Ham was getting ready to punt the ball here.
And they're actually counting the players on the field for Brownsville. I believe there was too many men on the field for Brownsville. Now it'll push them back another 5 yards.
12 men on the field. It's 2 penalties for the Brownsville Falcons here on their first drive. Not a good start to the season, but I mean, and you see that a lot though, especially in the first couple games. The teams, they get a couple weeks to practice getting the fundamentals down, and after a long summer, now the game conditions here, it's not happening in week 1. Lucas Ham back to punt, high snap, just gets it off. It's a line drive kick, and it looks like Coach East Ryan will let that roll all the way to the 29-yard line of the California Trojans, where they will take over first down and 10 with 10:46 left here in the first quarter.
And California did a great job there getting through the line, almost actually blocking the kick there. Wouldn't that have been something to see a block?
We saw that last year. We saw it last year when we were here, when we saw him play Jeff Morgan. It set up them to take a lead off a 2-point conversion up 8-7. They ended up losing a heartbreaker. And the thing is, with California High School, Casey Zyjek was the biggest part of that offense the past couple seasons. He's graduated. He's at Cal U, actually. But now, a new era for the California High School offense here, as they will take over at their own 28-yard line here, first down and 10. Austin Grillo under center. Sends a man in motion here. It looks like
there's a penalty flag from the side judge on the California sideline. We'll see what this call is.
And it looks like it's going to be on Brownsville. Third penalty for the Falcons here.
We're going to say that we're off sides, lined up over the line of scrimmage.
So let's see, false start, offsides.
And too many men on the field.
And too many men on the field. So
not a good start for the Brownsville Falcons here today.
So they'll bring up a first down and 5 for the Trojans here. We'll move the ball up to the 33-yard line. I mentioned Austin Grillo under center. Sophomore quarterback. 2 sophomore quarterbacks on the field tonight. Sends a man in motion. A handoff to Stafford up the middle. Plows ahead. Good run there for Stafford to start there. And he'll bring up a second down and short.
Yeah, good blocking upfield by the offensive lineman for California, giving Stafford that lane to just plow through. It's going to be 2nd and inches here, just barely missed the first down marker.
Trojans 2nd down and 1.
And they're going to give it to him. That's going to be a first down.
So they'll give him the first down there. It looked pretty close from where Stafford landed. So the Trojans with the first down of this game here. Looks like we're going to send out 2 receivers to each side. Grillo is going to line up in the shotgun here. First down and 10. Grillo takes the snap, hands off. And a good gain right there for the California Trojans. Looks like it was number 28, Jonathan Wood.
And Jonathan Wood Jr. for California. Nice off-tackle move there, getting the outside and getting down 2nd down and 2 for the Trojans.
8-yard pickup there for Wood, the 2-back set they've been using with Stafford. Wood is a junior. Stafford is a sophomore, so young backfield for the Trojans here. Wood lines up as a sidecar to Grillo here on 2nd down and 2. And it looks like Grillo's going to try quarterback draw. Runs into his own man. He's going to get stood up right at the line of scrimmage there. He's not going to get the first down. It's going to set up a 3rd and short.
Yeah, he lost about a half a yard on that one as well. It almost looked like it was a designed option play where you could either hand it off to the the halfback or run it himself. He elected to run it himself, but got stopped by his own lineman who was trying to block for him.
3rd down and 2. They'll say he got to the. Actually, no, they will say 3rd down and 3. Did lose a yard here. Grillo will line up under center here. Sends a man in motion. And it looks like Grillo will keep it himself again. Took the snap and run. Looks like he's going to be short again. Brownsville defensive line standing tall there. Looks like Mason Kelly got in there. One of the multiple Falcons on there to stop Grillo short of the sticks.
Yeah, Mason Kelly just kind of stood there. Wasn't even blocked. And Grillo just ran right into him like he didn't even see him. Like, for some reason, the seas parted, and there was Kelly just right there waiting for him.
Well, and Grillo immediately, instead of he lined up out of the shotgun and tried to do like a quarterback draw the last play, and then that time he clicked the stab and tried to like get through his lineman. But Brownsville there looks like the Trojans are going to go for it here. They're on their own 46-yard line, so they're see if they can trust their defense in case they don't get it here on 4th and 3. Grillo under center.
I believe he's trying to get them off sides.
Might be trying to do a hard count.
And that'll be
it
the
looks like
timeout
they'll
to
take a
send out the
timeout.
punt team.
So they tried to get Brownsville to jump. They did not. And Trojans expectedly will probably punt the ball away here with 8:04 left here in the first quarter. So, I mean, last year when we did that Cal High School game against Jeff Morgan, who also stayed in the Tri-County South, and we will be heading to Jeff Morgan next week for the kind of what we thought was for the week 1 CUTV High School game of the week against Springdale. We're very looking forward to that. We haven't been to Jeff Morgan in a couple years. I've never been to Jeff Morgan personally. But when Jeff Morgan came here last year, Cal ran the ball a lot. Like I said, they used Casey Zijak as quarterback, out of the Wildcat as a receiver, and it's really explosive. And again here, Cal trying to establish the run game against Brownsville, and had I feel like they had a lot of success with Jelani Stafford on that first run there, and even Wood got a good run as well. But put the ball in the hands of Grillo and kind of like a standard play call, and they got nothing.
Yeah, Brownsville looked like they were ready for that one, as Brownsville was ready for the punt return. And we'll see if California really elects to punt it. It looks like they may be faking it here or going for it.
I think they're
really
going. They are going for it. They're lined up in the I formation here.
Yeah.
Grillo, Stafford, and Wood lined up behind Grillo under center. And it'll be handed to Wood. Wood fumbles the ball. He got the first down. And we'll see who has it.
They're going to say...
Save preset 1 for Cal U's best music. More music in the car. More music in the door. More music everywhere. This is 91.9 WCAL Power 92. The home of the Vulcan Nation. Playing Cal U's best music. 91.9 WCAL. WCAL Power 92.
And now Brownsville is going to be in business here with good field position at their own 49-yard line. McCormick again under center here. Split wideouts to each side. Be a pitch toss to Herman. Herman cuts it to the right. Bounces out. Gets a positive gain there. First really positive gain the Falcons have had within their first 2 drives. And Tyler Herman is a senior, and he's been involved in the Brownsville offense a lot, especially the last 2 games that CUTV's done at Brownsville. Derry, he had a breakout game against Derry. He had a touchdown against Derry, and even last year against Burgettstown, he had a couple impressive plays as well. So Herman, now a senior, one of those senior leaders for the Brownsville Falcons here. Brownsville team said light years improved. And McCormick back to pass for the first time today. He pumps, he looks, fires. Incomplete. He was looking for DeJour Thomas down the sideline, just overthrew him.
He had just barely overthrew him. DeJour Thomas might have been able to put on those afterburners, might have been able to make that catch, but man, with the heat today, it is really hot out there. It's kind of tough to give it that extra energy.
And that was the thing for these teams that chose this first game, week 0, not a second scrimmage. They had to start a week earlier than some of the other high schools have, the ones that chose scrimmages, to have a heat acclimation week. So they have heat acclimation week, kind of like their training camp, and then the next week they start running plays and get their game prep ready to go. They dealt with a lot of the heat in July and August, and now they're really feeling it here in the last Friday in August. McCormick under center, and it'll be a handoff up the middle. Gain of about 2-3 yards on the play. It'll set up a third down. Fourth down.
Should be 4th down and 5 for the Brownsville Falcons, as it looks like they're sending on the punt unit. But another great stand by the California defense, plugging up those gaps, not really allow them to get up the field with these runs.
Especially after losing the ball and giving Brownsville pretty good field position, and their third down is kind of interesting play call there for Brownsville, just running the ball on a kind of a 3rd and long, as Ham will get the punt away. Short punt out of bounds. Doesn't give the Trojans any chance to return the ball. Looks like he kicked it out at about the 19-yard line of the Trojans. So decent punt to pin the Trojans back here. So we'll see what the Trojans do on their second possession. 6:29 left here in the first quarter. And with a lot of these games, a lot of area schools chose to do this Week 0 matchup. One notably in the Mon Valley being the second longest rivalry in all of Pennsylvania high school football history. It is Charleroi and Monessen, the first time they've played since 2007, and a lot of people are getting hyped up for that game.
Yeah, big game in Charleroi, and we'll look to see what the scores are after the game and see how those two teams did.
And Monessen in single A, Charleroi staying in double A. They play still in the same conference as Brownsville, as Gorilla takes the ball for about 3 yards up the middle there. But, I mean, and this has kind of allowed teams to go out of their comfort zones. And it mentioned another game, Uniontown and Connellsville, they play for the Coal Bucket. So a rivalry that we haven't seen in a while there as well. Laurel Highlands going up to Mount Pleasant. That's kind of a local. Uniontown, Mount Pleasant are kind of close to each other as well. And all across the WPIAL, especially a local notable Pennsylvania school, Pine Richland, playing on ESPN tomorrow in Ohio. See what Notre Dame recruit Phil Jerkovic can do for the Rams here, as Gorilla goes back to pass for the first time and gets wrapped up on the play there for the Falcons.
Yeah, and that was number 21 for Brody Bagwell, I believe, for the Falcons. And, man, he just flew right through that line to wrap him up.
And that play just looked discombobulated from the start. Really didn't have much protection. He had to force Gorilla to run, and before he could do anything, he was already going to the ground here. So 3rd down and 10 for the Trojans. But luckily, he didn't really lose a lot of yards. He went back to the original line of scrimmage. Gorilla will have another shotgun here on 3rd down, back to pass. He looks, he fires, he's looking, and it's caught! And going the distance for the Trojans is Cass Taylor. California strikes first. What a play there, and you know what? I talked before the game that you could look out for Cass Taylor, a big 6'4" body, and that was pretty impressive.
That was really impressive. The quarterback aired it out for him. He had to put on the afterburners, which I talked about before with the Brownsville offense. This time he was able to put them on and break through that one-on-one coverage, and just there was no one there, no safeties there.
And once he got by that one defender, nobody was around because he was going one-on-one. That's the size differential in the Trojans. This is one of their tallest kids they've had in a while playing at that position. So the Trojans will line up for the extra point here. And, I mean, what a start there for the Trojans. It backed up. That was an 81-yard touchdown pass.
Huge touchdown pass.
And we saw a over 100-yard interception return last season at Connellsville. Now we see a long one here. Oh, and a fake! The Trojans here. And incomplete. Looks like that was Colin Phillips pulling the ball back, trying to do a little trickeration for 2 points. Threw it in the end zone. Nobody there. But still, the Trojans strike first.
Yeah, great job by the Trojans. 81-yard touchdown pass. Maybe see that on high school round, and we'll tease that a little bit later, Matt.
Yes, and we will send it to commercial break here. The California Trojans strike first here on their home field at Trojan Stadium. Stay tuned for more action here on CUTV.
CUTV's High School Football Game of the Week. Springdale at Jeff Morgan. Avella at California. Bell Vernon at Ringgold. Greensburg Central Catholic at Charleroi, Waynesburg at Southmoreland, Baldwin at Connellsville, Beth Center at Brownsville, Fraser at Bentworth, Bishop Canavan at Carmichaels. The longest running high school coverage in southwestern PA is on CUTV.
And welcome back to Trojan Stadium here, where the California Trojans have taken a 6-0 lead on an 81-yard touchdown pass from Austin Grillo to Cass Taylor. And Anthony, like I said, one of the better passing plays you're gonna see this year.
Yeah, and we talked about before high school roundup, but we show highlights, talk about WPIAL in its entirety. It's gonna be great.
Taking a line drive here, Lucas Ham, and Ham gets a pretty good return here for the Falcons. And did the ball come out there?
I believe he said he was down by contact, but the ball did come out. But back to what I was saying before, that play could be the top play, blue ribbon play,
Definitely.
maybe for a high school roundup.
Yeah, and consider it. Normally we have Laurel Island's highlights as well to compete with. Our top play last year it involves a player that we'll be seeing at the fall for the California Vulcans, Caleb Cox from Fraser against Beth Center, our dubbed Game of the Year. This is going to be the first year we're actually not going to be broadcasting the Fraser Beth Center game, but Caleb Cox in the final play of the first half, taking the wide receiver option pass, and he threw it himself, found Damon Lovis, and that pretty much put it away for Fraser, and that was their top play. We'll see what this season will bring. If there's anything like last year, I'm excited to see what happens here. So McCormick hands off to Herman. Herman plows ahead, just gets high. It looks like he lost the ball. This time the Falcons might not be so lucky, and they aren't. The Trojans come away with the fumble there, and Brownsville giving the Trojans better field position in the last drive.
And it looked like a kind of botched run from the start. California was right there waiting for him, and then the ball just pops out. Maybe a little sweat on the ball, making it a little slippery there. It is, as we said, very hot out today. And
Herman actually was breaking a couple tackles. He made something out of nothing, which was impressive enough. But again, they fumbled the ball. They looked like they fumbled the ball on the kickoff as well. So puts the Falcons in a rut here with the Trojans starting on their own 45-yard line this time. Looks like we're going to have it's like a wildcat formation here for the Trojans with Coach Ice Ryan. And he fumbles the snap. Picks it back up, and he's going to get dropped for a big loss in the play there. So another fumble. This time, Ryan was able to recover it, but three Brownsville Falcons in the backfield, and that puts the Trojans way back in the hole. So a big response there for the Falcons. Big break.
Yeah, that's about a 13-yard loss. And it'll be about 2nd and 13. And it just looked like 2nd and 23, excuse me. And it just looked like the ball slipped through his hands. Like he had it and it just slipped through.
Now Grillo re-enters the game there. So the Trojans, again, they used that wildcat a lot last year. This time they had Ryan doing. Now they have back in the I formation. Grillo tries to run it, and Brownsville drops him in the backfield there. It looks like he was trying to do an option there, but again, Brownsville defensive line penetrating Trojans' left side of the offensive line, because that's what happened the last play too.
That trio of Brownsville defenders right there, and one of them was the linebacker Brody Bagwell, who we saw before with that big sack. And he was able to make it through again. Now it's making it a 3rd and 26 for the California Trojans.
And the Trojans had great field position, but that first play basically could have be a drive destroyer as well. They really couldn't get their drive off before they start. Grillo will line up out of the shotgun here on 3rd and 26 with 3:13 left here in the first quarter. Sends Ryan in motion, back to pass. Grillo looks, he wants Ryan. Ryan almost makes a one-handed catch. Penalty flag is down, and we'll just see what the call is there.
It may be against Brownsville, that defender after the play. And we will see. That was almost a great one-handed catch.
Oh, I know. That was, almost pulled the ball down there.
He would have been off to the races.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, again, over the middle there. Grillo has a good enough arm to make this possible. And that's the big thing. When you come out and you see a big receiver like Cass Taylor, we set him up on those one-on-one matchups, kind of get the long pass down the sidelines. They can make that work there. And that time, it's had success over the middle. Looks like they'll call holding on Brownsville.
And they will move it up 15 yards. It looked like it must have been from the spot of the foul, which is kind of weird that it would be from the line of scrimmage instead of the spot of the foul where holding usually is called.
It did kind of look like he was getting held here, so they will replay third down.
It'll be 3rd and 21 now for the Trojans.
And it really only made a 5-yard distance change. But it gives the Trojans new life if they can get a nice pass off like they did. Looks like Wood lines up out of the Wildcat. Stafford as a sidecar. And he'll take it and get stood up and brought down immediately. Great play there, number 63, Dylan Lewis for the Falcons.
A sophomore there, Dylan Lewis, breaking right through the California Trojans offensive line and wrapping him up. Again, the quarterback draw just is not working for the California Trojans today, excuse me.
No, or the Wildcat there, because we tried that. They used a different person back in the Wildcat in Wood, and they got the snap off correctly, but it's just that the line, they really have not had much success running the ball, except for the first drive. And Brownsville stands tall after fumbling the ball. And the Trojans kind of made some mistakes, fumbling the one Wildcat for snap and trying to run the ball again. Brownsville pushing them back. And now a high snap. Mox just gets it off. Penalty flag is down. Could be a false start here on the Trojans. So it was almost a disaster. They almost snapped it over Dustin Mock's head.
Yeah, that would have been a disaster. The Brownsville would have been all over that one.
And Mock kind of did like a rugby-style punt, moving out of the way so he could get the punt off. And they will call indeed a false start on the Trojans, so that will make them lose the penalty yards they got from the holding call on the Falcons. So now the Trojans will try to punt once again. This time, much better snap. Mock just gets it off very slow. That almost got blocked. And Herman will let that bounce, roll out at about the 14-yard line. So the Falcons will be backed up to start. But another penalty flag down in the backfield.
We'll see what this one's on. It might be against Brownsville. It looked like Mock was trying to talk to the referee there and see exactly what the call is. But that was a pretty good kick there.
Yeah, it was.
By Mock, getting it to the 14-yard line. We'll see if there may be yardages tacked on for Brownsville or against them.
And he took a while to get that punt off, too, because Brownsville even got a better rush against him with getting a perfect snap.
As the referee's conferring here, deciding where the ball should be placed.
And we'll see. Here looks like one of the head referee talking to the head coach for the Falcons, Jason House. Jason House took over the reins last year, and like I said, you could tell a whole different Brownsville team from years past. A lot of fight and winning games. Looks like they're going to tack this penalty on here onto the punt, and that's going to back the Falcons up inside their own 10-yard line.
That'll be a half the distance to the goal, I believe, because it was a personal foul penalty. That's 15 yards.
Right.
So half the distance.
And they're at the 14-yard line,
right.
So they'll start at the 7 with 2:05 left here in the first quarter. And with Brownsville not really be able to move the ball well, this does not bode well. If the Trojans could force a 3-and-out here for the Falcons, they could be set up in great field position.
It looks like the referee's still conferring out there. And now Brownsville breaks the huddle, ready to go.
Cormack will line up under center here out of the I formation. Herman lined up in the end zone, just barely in the end zone. Cormack, looks like optional, keeping himself. Tried to look for Herman, McCormick will slide forward, gets a positive gain for the Falcons there. Gives them a little bit more breathing room.
And that was a good play there. Triple option. He could have either went to the fullback, pitched it to the halfback, or keep it himself. He elected to keep it himself, which was a good choice there. He gets to a 2nd and 3 now and out of the end zone.
7-yard gain, longest gain of any play for the Brownsville Falcons here today. So we get closer to the end of the first quarter, 1:37 and counting left.
Falcons still have yet to get a first down.
That is right. McCormick lines up, same formation, I formation. And McCormick this time deep handoff to Herman. He gets wrapped up there in the backfield. Number 53 for the Trojans, that is Damian Simiak.
Yeah, Damian Simiak, the freshman, 5'11 freshman for California, breaks right through that Falcons line and just wraps on a perfect form tackle there.
Yes.
Right around the legs. There was no way he was getting anywhere.
That's a big setback for Brownsville, considering they had that great gain there where McCormick set him up for a possible first down. That only puts them right back to where they started. It will be 3rd down.
Should be 3rd down and 5. Maybe 3rd down and 4 for the Falcons.
McCormick once again out of the I formation.
As there's a flag on the field now by one of the side judges.
Brownsville already with 5 penalties so far in this first quarter. And looks like it's going to be 6.
That's a delay of game penalty against Brownsville.
Wow.
Not something you want to be taking here.
And they've had about every penalty imaginable here in the first quarter. So it basically puts them right where they started. They started the drive at the 8-yard line. They started at the 7. Once it's 2nd and 3. Now it's 3rd and 9.
3rd and 9 for the Falcons. They've been trying to drive down the field, and when they had an answer, California answered right back with a good tackle.
And then the penalties as well, not boding well for the Falcons. So we have 16 seconds left here in the first quarter. And it looks like Trojans might have jumped early. But he pitches it to Herman. Herman bounces out to the right side and gets stood up. Plows his way forward, but still well short of the first down. And that will be the final play of the first quarter.
Yeah, and Brownsville almost again was a delayed game. He got it off with 1 second on the clock, Matt.
So a lot of miscommunication, a lot of penalties for the Falcons as we go into commercial break as we're about to start the second quarter. California Trojans lead on their home field. It's week 0 matchup, 6-0 against Brownsville. Stay tuned for more action here on CUTV.
CUTV's high school football game of the week. Springdale at Jeff Morgan. Avella at California. Bell Vernon at Ringgold. Greensburg Central Catholic at Charleroi. Waynesburg at Southmoreland. Baldwin at Connellsville. Beth Center at Brownsville. Fraser at Bentworth. Bishop Canavan at Carmichaels. The longest running high school coverage in southwestern PA is on CUTV.
And welcome back to Trojan Stadium. We're
high
about to
school
start the
football
second
game of
quarter
the week.
in this week
Springdale
0
at Jeff
matchup
Morgan.
between the Brownsville Falcons
Avella at
and
California.
Cal High Trojans leading the
Bell
Falcons
Vernon
6-0.
at Ringgold.
Falcons.
And it'll be a 4th down. They'll be punting basically from the end zone, the goal line here.
And Brownsville, a great start to the drive, but a loss of yards on the 2nd down, and then another penalty really put them back, and a run by Tyler Herman could not get them back. As Sam will punt, just gets it off, high kick, short kick, and it'll be fair caught at the 40-yard line by Coach Ice Ryan. So the Trojans will get great field position here, and you know what, Anthony, let's take a look at the California High School Trojans schedule. And they start off here at Brownsville. Then they go to Fort Cherry next week. Fort Cherry, one of the new members of the Tri-County South. And then in 2 weeks, we will be back here, full truck shoot with Avella. And it's going to be a favorable matchup for California High Trojan. You can see Amani Christian on there, Monessen returning. And in a big matchup there, at Rochester in October. And Rochester used to be a perennial power in single A. It produced a couple players, and Derek Moy, and also Trey Johnson, former California Vulcan.
Also, they're playing Jeff Morgan on October 21st. We covered that game, and it's going to be a grudge match against the Rockets there because it ended on a crazy play for Jeff Morgan to win the game.
Yeah, it did, and it's right back here at Trojan Stadium this year as the ball will be handed off to Jelani Stafford. Stafford breaking a couple tackles. Great run there, Jelani Stafford. Looking like Marshawn Lynch out there. Close to a first down there. It looked like Stafford was going to be thrown in the loss, but then he kept trucking there. He's got big frame for him, too.
Jelani Stafford, the sophomore, 6'1", 258-pound running back there for California, shaking off 2 tackles. Great job there, and then taking 3 Falcons with him until he's finally brought down here at the 41-yard line, 2nd and 1.
And Stafford will go off there, and he gets a nice break and a well-deserved break. 2nd down and 1. Let's see what the Trojans do here, because a couple instances, so we have a stoppage.
As side judge coming in here, talk to the referee.
But I mentioned it just before mentioning the Trojans have had good success on their first down plays, but then they've kind of driven their way back, exception the long 81-yard touchdown pass. But see right here, if they look to Austin Grillo to try to maybe move up the middle, get him a couple yards. But anytime they've tried to go up the middle, Brownsville's been there. So now back to action here. Grillo 2nd down and 1. Sends Ryan in motion. Loses the snap. He falls right on it. So a lucky break there for the Trojans. But again, 2nd down and short. They can't get that first down.
It's now 3rd down and 1 as he fell right on it at the line of scrimmage. Maybe actually a loss of a few yards. So it'll actually be 3rd down and 3 for the California Trojans.
But you're right there at the first, looking to get the first down, and then a mishandling of the snap there puts the Trojans back in a little bit of a bind. Still 3rd and manageable. So he'll go I formation here.
Look for that triple option again from California.
Stafford and Wood lining up behind Grillo. He'll go Stafford first, close to the first down there.
We'll see where they give him that spot. It may be 4th down and just a yard.
Yeah, it looks like that's where they're going to spot it. The referee with a fist in the air, singly 4th down. Looks like it'll be
4th and 1.
4th and 1, but you see there they lost those 2 yards. If it was 3rd and 1, they would have had a first down. So that fumble looming large here, but the Trojans obviously going to go for it. The way their defense has been playing, they can, as they're getting deeper into Falcon territory. Yeah,
and Jelani Stafford, a great fullback for this California Trojan team, really can plow through that defense.
I wouldn't be surprised if they go back to him here on 4th down and 1. He'll send Stafford in motion. Pitch toss to Wood, trying to get Stafford's block. He's got it. First down for the Trojans.
And good call there, giving Jelani Stafford, putting him in motion and getting him the block downfield so that Lucas Hart could get that first down.
And a great run there for Wood. And remember, last time he had the ball on 4th and 1, he got the first down, but he fumbled it. This time he holds on to it. Now the Trojans 1st down and 10, new set of downs at the Brownsville 28-yard line. Grillo will line up under center, in the shotgun, and he hands to Wood. Wood cuts it back up the middle, gets about a yard or two, bring up 2nd down. And it seems that Wood's become the feature back, but I kind of like to see more out of Stafford, because Stafford kind of reminds me of, thinking back to the college football fan I am, Alabama team 2 years ago that didn't win the national title. It lost to Ohio State in the Sugar Bowl. They used Derrick Henry as kind of like fullbacks up, and they had T.J. Yeldon kind of like the more feature, quicker back. But Derrick Henry had a better game in that Sugar Bowl. And right now Stafford kind of outplaying Wood, but they're still going in the hands of Wood here. He will line up next to Grillo here, 2nd down. Sends Ryan in motion. Grillo back to pass. He looks, fires. He wants Taylor. Taylor, and incomplete. Great play, great coverage there by Herman.
Yeah, it was actually DeJour Thomas, I believe, on the coverage there, number 6 for Brownsville. And it's a great job just punching the ball out of the air.
I think it was Herman on the stop there, but with the numbers and being far away from where we are.
6 and 9s look similar.
Yeah, exactly, it does, yeah. And being up in the press box here, high press box like the Trojans are, it's kind of far away from the field too. So, but regardless, great coverage there. And again, that was how they tried to have that same play where Taylor broke off on that long catch and run for the touchdown. That time, Falcons were ready. Grillo lines up here on 3rd and 9. Back to pass. He looks. He fires, and incomplete. Receiver falling for the Trojans. That was Ryan, and they will call a penalty flag here.
And it looked like he just got tripped up with the legs there of the wide receiver for California, but they're going to call a pass interference, I believe, and that'll give the Trojans a first down.
And see, the thing is there, Coach Ice Ryan fell, but I think that's not what the penalty was on. I think he tripped up himself, but I think it'll be called here on DeJour Thomas. He was covering Tyler Rothfuss. And we'll call it on Brownsville here.
It is pass interference against Brownsville. That'll give them the first down for the California Trojans.
And the Brownsville fans don't like that because I think it was a late flag. It wasn't thrown right away as the play happened.
I think if he would have caught that ball, it would not have been a penalty.
Be 8:33 left here in the second quarter, and the Trojans' best drive of the game are at the Brownsville 15-yard line, new set of downs. Stafford this time will line up out of the Wildcat with Wood right next to him. Excuse me, Wood will line up out of the Wildcat with Stafford next to him. Grillo will actually line up as a receiver, split out to the near side. Wood takes direct snap. Wood's going to lane. He's going to go for 6. Touchdown, Trojans.
And what a block down the field. And there's a penalty flag.
Oh, yeah, another late flag here.
This may be against California and be coming back. Wouldn't that be something?
Oh, man. Cal had a touchdown callback last year in the Jeff Morgan game as well. But it could be a touchdown taken off the field. That was Wood on the touchdown run. It would be a 14-yard touchdown if stands.
Our head referee talking to the Brownsville team in the huddle right now. We'll see what this is.
The Trojans aren't lining up for an extra point.
I believe they're discussing whether or not they want to accept it or decline it, and you'd have to accept it or else it's a touchdown, I would assume.
Trying to explain what it is here. It's personnel change for the Trojans. And after the play, there was a personal foul after the play for the Trojans, but still the touchdown does count. So 14-yard touchdown run.
Would like to know what kind of personal foul that was for the California Trojans.
Maybe a celebration that I didn't see.
Usually that they show unsportsmanlike conduct for that, and all they showed was personal foul. So don't know exactly what the personal foul was on, but the touchdown does stand, and that'll mean they have to kick the ball off, I believe, farther down the field.
Yeah, they'll be backed up to kick the ball, which could be an advantage for Brownsville in getting good field position here. Dustin Mock will line up for the extra point. Cal tried a two-point conversion last time. Snap juggled by Colin Phillips, but Mock gets it off, gets it through the uprights. And the Trojans extend their lead 13-0 over Brownsville here with 8:27 left here in the second quarter. Stay tuned for the rest of the first half here on CUTV.
CUTV News Center is California University of Pennsylvania's award-winning student television newscast. Your source for live, local, late-breaking news. Forecasts from the Cal U Weather Center. The region's latest entertainment news. Vulcan sports highlights and regional scoreboards. With television news coverage you can't get anywhere else. Watch it live Thursdays on CUTV and on demand. CUTV News Center. Online all the time.
And welcome back to Trojan Stadium here as California extended their lead over Brownsville 13-0 here in the second quarter, and the Trojans will go to kick here. And Anthony, that we saw California hit deep on a long pass for a quick drive score, and now this time they drove the ball. They got great field position off Brownsville punt, and they went 40 yards for a touchdown.
And that last touchdown was a great run by Wood. He got a big block down the field, and if that block wasn't there, he would have been stopped short of the end zone. So luckily for him, he had that block and was able to just prance right in.
And now that personal foul penalty backs the ball up to the Trojans, the Falcons' 25-yard line. So now Brownsville is probably going to get good field position as Dustin Mock will tee it up. Uses kind of a squib kick here. Looks like it'll be taken and taken down. Great open field tackle by the kicker, by Dustin Mock. So sometimes, these kickers, they can make great tackles.
Well, they're also offensive players, too. He's a wide receiver for the Trojans.
Hey, they call it special teams for a reason. That was a pretty special play, but it just brings me back to those days when Daniel Sepulveda used to punt for the Steelers, and he used to make some wicked tackles on some of probably the toughest punter I think the NFL's ever had, and that was DeJour Thomas on the return. So the Brownsville, regardless of the great tackle, they will still have decent field position to start at their own 47-yard line. McCormick will line up out of the shotgun formation here. Back to pass. He looks, fires, looking for Herman, incomplete.
Had to get that ball off quickly as there's a blitz coming from the Trojan defense.
And that time they lined Herman out as a wideout, and had Lucas Ham as a sidecar to McCormick. And a score update as this game's been going along in the broadcast. Monessen up 13-10 over Charleroi. In what has been dubbed as the Battle of the Bridge that is those two schools separated by the Mon River as well. Charleroi in Washington County, Monessen in Westmoreland County. McCormick again out of the shotgun, back to pass. He looks for his deep ball, looking for Kelly, and it's well overshot.
I think he thought that Mason Kelly was going to go deeper down the field, and Kelly thought it was a little shorter than what McCormick thought.
So 2 passes here for Brownsville, 2 incompletions. It'll be 3rd down and 10, 8:13 left here in the first half. But in Brownsville, not really having so much success running, now they try to see what McCormick can do with his arm. And he's a big frame as a 6'5 quarterback. That's a type of guy that has a lot of power that you expect that can throw the ball downfield.
Interesting to note that both quarterbacks for both teams are both sophomores.
Yes, they are. So we'll see a lot of them in the future. McCormick again, back to pass on 3rd down. Under pressure, he gets it off to Ham. Ham makes a man miss, makes 2 men miss near the 1st down. Great run for after the catch there for Ham. He might have Brownsville's first down of the game.
It'd be very close if he didn't. It does look like he has it at the 43-yard line.
And a great effort there. Ham 1st down, so the first down of the game for the Brownsville Falcons. And got to believe that is a sigh of relief for everybody on that Brownsville sideline. They needed that.
Yeah, they did. First down, 8:04 left to go in the second quarter. As they try to keep marching down the field to get their first touchdown.
And the Trojans were completely winning the battle of field positions that led to their second touchdown here in Brownsville. Even California got that touchdown, but that personal foul really set Brownsville as McCormick delivers downfield, incomplete.
Oh, it looked like it almost was tipped there by one of the linebackers for California. It might have altered the flight path of the ball.
And looks like he was looking downfield, and I mean that was a pretty good looking throw. I mean he got it downfield. It was a laser pass, but little too fast for that play there. So now 4 straight passes for the Falcons.
And the Falcons looking to possibly keep going with the passing. That's what gave them that first down.
Now this time McCormick will line under center. And it looks like it'll be handed off to Herman on the misdirection. Herman plows forward, looks like 2 yards in the play. He'll set up a 3rd down and 8.
Yeah, 3rd down and about 8 for the Falcons. Trying to break a few tackles through that defensive line for California. Just couldn't break through enough as it's 3rd down and 9 for the Falcons.
And Herman's not been having that much success as we've seen in the previous years in this game. But the Trojans have a very experienced defensive line. Last season, the Jeff Morgan game, Braden Collins, who is a junior on that line, he had a tremendous game. As we'll have a whistle here. Looks like Coach House will take a timeout for Brownsville. That's their 2nd one of the half. And while they have a timeout, let's take a look at Brownsville's schedule. And Brownsville staying in the Interstate Conference, but like I said, they have some new friends. Bentworth, Fraser, Beth Center, Mount Pleasant. Actually, I'm sorry, that's a non-league game. Chartiers Houston. But and then they have, you see the other usual games at Charleroi, a team that they actually scored 60 points on last year. One of the biggest blowouts wins for Brownsville in their history. But the big game here for Brownsville is that week, as you can say, the week 2 matchup at Washington. Washington probably would have wished that the Little Prexies would have left the Interstate Conference or maybe moved up to AAA. But that's a big game, considering that's going to show how they match up with everybody in that country. Because that's as good as it gets. The Little Prexies are going to be the favorites, but again, Fraser and Best Center back to back is not going to be an easy task either.
And we saw the Little Prexies take on Mount Pleasant last year in our PCN game, and both those teams were undefeated. So the Little Prexies should be another solid team this year as well.
Yes, they do lose. They lose Jordan West from last season. Had that great game against the Vikings, and that Best Center game, that will be Brownsville Senior Night. We will be there with CUTV coverage, and that's really exciting considering. Again, another local match of Fredericktown just down the road from Brownsville, and it's made instances where teams have to travel far. But some games it brings the fans a nice short little drives. McCormick takes the pass out of the shotgun here. Penalty flag is down. He gets wrapped up for a sack.
That'll be interesting because if that is against Brownsville, it'll be interesting to see if California declines it and goes where the sack was, or if they'll take the penalty or the holding penalty.
That was Braden Collins there on the sack, who just mentioned what Collins can do, and that lost a lot of yards for the Falcons. A promising drive. Going to be. Could be either a 3rd and long. Well, it'd be a 3rd and long either way.
And it looks like they'll be declining the holding penalty here
Yep.
against Brownsville, which is a good call there. That was a huge sack. It brings up 4th down, and Brownsville will definitely have to punt here.
I mean, if you think about it, if you think about it here, you get the replay of 3rd and long from the same spot, or you can just take the sack and it's 4th down. So obviously they will punt here. Lucas Ham will be back out the punt. Probably more on the field out the punt than Coach House would have wanted in this first half here with 7:09 left in the first half.
In California, they're stopping Brownsville's momentum after they got that 1st down.
And Ham will take the snap. Just gets it off again. Tell you, one of these times they're not careful. Trojans are going to block this one. It's going to be a favorable bounce for the Falcons here. Wow, that's going to roll all the way to the 6-yard line. So the Falcons flipping the field against the Trojans. It's going to go a long way. We're going to take a look at the Tri-County South standings, what the Tri-County South now looks like. And you can see some familiar faces: Avella, Cal, Carmichaels, Jeff Morgan, Mapletown, and West Green all return. But Monessen, former Tri-County South member, before moving to the Eastern Conference when they used to play Clareton, Greensburg Central Catholic for a couple years. And Fort Cherry is a very underrated single A program. And adding that into the Tri-County South, I think, boosts the strength of schedule, and it makes the teams more battle tested. They're playing a team that's been in the playoffs most of every year as well.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the Tri-County South matches up this year with the new additions. As we get back to action here.
Grillo under center, hands off the Wood. Wood taking down middle. He has his helmet ripped off by Shandon Marshall.
And California's looking for a face mask penalty. I don't blame them.
Yeah, I mean, Wood's helmet got completely ripped off there. Unless he didn't get the face mask, I mean, there really is no penalty for if it's like an accident. If the helmet's knocked off with, as long as it's not by the face mask, it's fine. It's not safe, but it's fine.
As that brings it to a 2nd and 8 for the California Trojans.
Grillo will line up out of the I formation. And considering that Wood lost his helmet, he has to sit out of play as this ball is handed to Stafford. Stafford gets wrapped up by Mason Kelly. They'll give Stafford forward progress there. Stafford got ripped to the 1-yard line, but if Brownsville can get this stop here, they're going to have they're potentially really good field position.
And Brownsville lined up like they knew it was a run. They had everyone on the line of scrimmage. They knew that I formation was going to be a run. If I'm California, why didn't you audible to go to a passing play? There was nobody back there.
I think it kind of just wasn't what they wanted for the start, because normally they had Wood out there every single play behind Stafford, and now it was kind of different. They wanted to do something different with Stafford, and Stafford had a good run plowing over a couple guys, but that time Brownsville did a good job wrapping up. 3rd down and 7. They'll actually give him a yard. But Wood re-enters the game as Grillo's sidecar out of the shotgun. Back to pass is Grillo. He looks. He wants Kelly. Almost intercepted by Herman, but incomplete there. Excuse me. That was Cass Taylor he was looking for, but Herman almost getting the interception there. Brownsville gets what they needed to do. 3 and out after they back the Trojans up within their 10.
Yeah, Cass Taylor contorting his body, trying to get that interception. Just missed as Brownsville will get favorable field position unless it's a favorable bounce for California with this punt.
And it looks like Mock will line up in his own end zone. So, I mean, they've had a high snap. They've let Brownsville get into the backfield here, so they have to really, really watch their blocking here. It's going to be disastrous. A low snap. Mock gets it off. That might have got tipped. That was kind of a line drive kick, but it's going to take a big bounce. And Marshall's going to have to run, and he's going to let it bounce all the way to the Brownsville 34-yard line. So much for good field position.
Yeah. As I said, it could either be good field position for Brownsville or a favorable bounce. And, it would have been something if Brownsville got that blocked punt and was able to maybe take it back into the end zone. That would have been huge for Brownsville. But instead, misses the block, maybe gets a tip on it, and then the line drive punt goes deep down the field to the 34-yard line, Brownsville's 34-yard line. I
first thought that it might have been tipped, but I think Mock was trying to do a line drive and didn't give him a chance to return. It took a great bounce. So Brownsville doesn't get the favorable field position that they want here. They'll have 4:56 left here in the first half to try to get something going here, possibly get on the scoreboard, because they give the Trojans the ball to start the second half. Cormick will line up out of the shotgun here. Takes the snap, play action. He looks under pressure, and down he goes. Trojans get to him again there. Looks like that was number 32 on the play, Ben Blitzky.
Man, that was a huge play there for California. They had at least 2 guys get through the line. And they got big guys on the line to do those California Trojans. They were able to just break through the Brownsville offensive line, and there was nowhere to go for Jake McCormick.
And back-to-back plays, you're going to go back to the previous drive, back-to-back sacks for the Trojans. Backs them up, loss of 7, 2nd down and 17, and after not getting the field position that they wanted, they're going to be backed up even more at their own 27-yard line here. The lineup out of the I formation, the formation they've been running the most here. Herman in the backfield. It pitches it to Herman. Herman cuts it up the middle. It's positive gain.
Maybe about 2 yards on the carry. Not a great gain there for Herman, trying to get some speed through this California defense. But California right now has just been a wall for the Brownsville offense.
Oh, they really have. And given Brownsville not a lot of chances to do anything, Herman's actually going to exit the field here on 3rd and long, because you kind of expect the Falcons will probably try to test the arm of Jake McCormick again. He saw it and threw about 4 straight passes on their last drive. Really didn't have much success other than a completion to Herman for their lone first down of this entire game. 3:18 left here in the first half. McCormick hand off to Ham. He goes nowhere. Blitzky, Collins again on the stop, and I'll bring up a 4th down and a penalty flag.
And that was Braden Collins again breaking through the line. He wrapped him up first there. Huge tackle there, and we'll see who this penalty is on.
It was after the play. Well after the play here.
There's a personal
foul
against
on
California.
the Trojans. I didn't see what happened. But like you said, normally the officials signal if it's unsportsmanlike conduct or something like that. But
it could have been a late hit.
It could have been. I mean, that's the only thing I got because I didn't really see a lot of shoving. However, that gives the Falcons an automatic first down.
It does, 15 yards and the first down.
I mean, you got to hate that. You got to hate that if you're Darren Dillo for the Trojans. I mean, you have him stopped. You yourself could get great field position with another punt, but now a personal foul penalty that shouldn't be happening gives Brownsville new life at their own 41-yard line.
They're saying it's a 4th down and 2, so that was not an automatic first down.
So 4th down 2, Falcons will still go for it. Play action, under pressure, just gets it off. It is! They'll call it incomplete.
That's a good call.
That's a good call.
He didn't have complete possession of the ball, and the referee right there in the middle of the field made a good call there. There's the penalty flag on the field, maybe against California again. And wouldn't that be something?
How devastating would that would be? That was Quadri Johnson he was looking for, almost got it, but I could see definitely the ball hit the ground. He didn't have full possession of it, but it looks like it will be on Brownsville because Coach Dillo will be showing like his arms like moving back and forth like to decline it.
That'll be
false start.
Illegal motion actually on Brownsville. They'll decline that, and that'll give California a first down.
So that's a break for the Trojans that they didn't call that. They didn't call that a automatic first down. I thought those kind of penalties are automatic first down.
Personal fouls usually are automatic first down, but I guess in high school football that's not the case.
Well, at least not there. But the Trojans are going to have great field position. 3:01 left in the first half, and they're going to start at the Brownsville 42-yard line. You got to believe if they can get a touchdown here, that's going to set them up perfectly for the second half, getting the ball first and possibly trying to put this game on a stranglehold.
As it's 3:01 left in the second quarter.
Wood lines up out of the Wildcat. Takes the snap. He'll go up the middle. And a decent gain there on first down. Takes it to about the 37-yard line.
Should be about a 2nd and 4 for the California Trojans. Good run up the middle. They're good blocking downfield, giving them a 2nd down and manageable.
Looks like they're going to keep Grillo off the field and keep running the Wildcat here with Wood. 2nd down and 4. Wood, almost lost that snap. This takes up the middle, first down, and more dragging tackles. Lost the ball at the last second. Not sure if he was down or not, but looks like Jelani Stafford recovered the ball regardless of what the call would have been. It would have been Trojan ball. So great 2 back-to-back runs there for Wood.
Yeah, it was a really good job there by Wood. He took Brody Bagwell for a ride there for a little bit until he was finally tackled down by a few other Brownsville players. But that gives them a first down here at the 29-yard line.
And we're going to see Austin Grillo for the first time on this drive. 2:16 left here in the first half. And the way they're moving or where they are on the field, they're at the Brownsville 29-yard line. They have a chance if they want to. They can really take the clock down. So Brownsville has any chances to score. It looks like it will be a timeout called here for the California Trojans. And for this timeout, let's take a look at the Interstate Conference standings of what it'll look like this season. You can see they'll call it the Century Conference. I was calling that wrong. I was thinking that's what it used to be, what Brownsville used to be in, but the new Century Conference. But it features a lot of teams from the Interstate Conference. You see Burgettstown, Charleroi, and Wash High. And then the new teams, Bentworth, Beth Center, Fraser, and Chartiers Houston as well. So with Brownsville having all those new teams in there, the teams that I'm really excited for that they move is Beth Center and Fraser because they still keep that rivalry going. Charleroi stays in, and they bring Chartiers Houston in, who made the playoffs last year, and they make the playoffs a lot recently. So it's a different feel bringing Chartiers Houston. I think values the Century Conference like Fort Cherry does for the Tri-County South.
It'll be interesting to see how that plays out as Fraser and Best Center, the rivalry that we've seen a lot here at CUTV and dubbed last year the Play of the Year and Rivalry of the Year.
They're playing that game in week 2 this year. It's kind of early, and it's to be a rematch at Beth Center in Fredericktown. And Fraser mentioned before they really embarrassed Beth Center. But
another timeout here by
back-to-back Trojans. But you mentioned no Anthony Welsh. He's graduated. Their longtime coach Ed Woods left, so it's a new era of Best Center football, and you could believe they could have some struggles here. But we'll talk about some of the other conferences as well that are going to be in our coverage area for high school football. I mentioned there is an interstate conference. It'll be AAA, not AA. It'll feature teams that used to also be in the old interstate conference, like Mount Pleasant, McGuffey, Southmoreland, Waynesburg, and York stays in AAA, but York and Mount Pleasant are pretty much close to each other. Yeah. Pretty much Route 31 separates them. South Park is the wild card in here because they used to play with Steel Valley and South Fayette, and they kind of never really overcame those obstacles. So now they play up a level, but they're playing teams that they can manage with more. And the other interesting team that's in that conference, Elizabeth Ford, they're taking out of the conference of Bell Vernon and Ringgold, local rivals, as Jonathan Wood will take this carry to the left side, and he's going to go for another touchdown for the Trojans.
And there could have been a block in the back call there as Thomas DeJour for Brownsville was kind of getting held from behind there. But, man, Jonathan Wood just went off to the races on that outside run.
And that was just a great play. Goes untouched again. He went untouched on his last touchdown run as well. So Wood really becoming the feature back for the Trojans. And he's only a junior. The Trojans only have 5 seniors on this team. So you gotta believe that this team still can they're going to bring back a lot of their talent last year. And right now, they're doing a great job.
That they are, and their running game and passing game are strong with Jonathan Wood as well.
Mock gets the kickoff. It's good. And now, with a minute 59 left here in the first half, the Trojans running away from the Brownsville Falcons here as we take it to commercial break. Stay tuned for the rest of the first half here on CUTV.
Back for its 3rd season. With more live episodes and brand new games. With host Stephen Ruffing. It's
welcome back to Trojan Stadium as we're winding down here in the first half. California Trojans extend their lead over Brownsville 20-0 after the 28-yard touchdown run by Jonathan Wood, his second of the game. And Anthony, it's been all Trojans here in the first half. Brownsville, they only have a little bit of time to try to get something happening before they have to kick the ball back to the Trojans to start the second half.
And they've only had 1 first down so far this entire half.
And Herman will take this kick about the 5-yard line, breaks a tackle, gets to the outside, breaks another tackle, still going. Great return there for Tyler Herman, gets to the 32-yard line. Brownsville's had a couple nice kick returns. That's about it.
And a couple nice kick returns. They had a good first down. They only had 1. It was a good one nonetheless, but they just can't really get any momentum going once they start moving down the field. It's like California answers back, and once they answer back, Brownsville runs into a wall per se.
So now Brownsville have 1:50 left here in the first half. They're at their own 31-yard line. Their last drive started out as a disaster. Then they got a personal foul penalty called on California that didn't give them all back first down, but brought them to 4th and 2 that they couldn't complete. The receiver could not handle the ball. As this pass too high and quick for Mason Kelly there. McCormick got that off so fast, and Kelly wasn't ready for it.
Yeah, that was a quick screen pass to Kelly, and I think Kelly was ready for it, but he wasn't ready for it to come in that hot and high.
And they could have had something working there too, because he
it was
beat his
one-on-one.
receiver. Yeah, it was one-on-one, and he had a couple steps on his receiver there.
As it's 1:46 now left in the second quarter for the Brownsville Falcons to try to get something going here, maybe get some points on the board, even if you come away just with a field goal.
Any points would be huge for Brownsville as they line up out of the I formation here. Ball's handed off to Herman. He goes nowhere. Stood up at the line of scrimmage that time by a host of Trojans.
And just nothing working for the Brownsville running game right now, up the middle at least. It's like California, the California Trojans are plugging every gap on that offensive line.
It looks like they're going to send Herman out here on 3rd down. They're going to bring in Quadir Johnson. He's the one who almost caught the ball on the 4th and 2 play. He just didn't have possession of it when the ball hit the ground. And now Brownsville here, but 3rd and 10, 1:06 left. I mean, if they stop the clock here, let's just say they stop the clock with an incompletion or anything. The Trojans do not have a timeout, so they can't stop the clock the rest of the half with any timeouts. McCormick, hands off Johnson. This is a big run here for Johnson. He's going to get a first down. Where did that play come from? Wow.
A huge run there by Johnson, the fullback there for Brownsville. And we're going to have a stoppage of time here, I believe, after the first down there. I think Brownsville called a timeout. The clock at 49.3 seconds, but another possibly a face mask penalty that could have been called against California, and grabbing on the face mask area there of that Brownsville player.
What a huge play, though. I mean, that's Brownsville's got to be thinking to themselves, where's this been all game? Quadir Johnson, his first carry of the game, goes for a big gain, gets first down. And talking about some of the games we're going to be doing this regular season coming up here. We mentioned we're going to California in 2 weeks. We're coming back here for a game against Avella. Next week, Springdale, Jeff Morgan. Then probably the game I'm looking forward to most this year, Bell Vernon at Ringgold in week 3.
Huge rivalry.
And that game last year was an instant classic up at Bell Vernon. This time the venue's moved to Monongahela at Joe Montana Stadium, which, I mean, in that name itself, I mean, Joe Montana was one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, one of Western PA's greatest athletes of all time. And going to that stadium, the last time that CUTV was at Ringgold was 2012 when they played Bell Vernon. Bell Vernon, the issue is they went undefeated. They lost in the second round of the playoffs last year against Franklin Regional. They lost all their key players. And for Ringgold, they lost Shakar Berry, who's now up at Slippery Rock.
And it's huge there. California doing a good job here today, but as you said, Ringgold, Bell Vernon, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I hear so many good stories about the atmosphere of that stadium.
It's a great stadium. McCormick here. Screen pass again to Kelly. This time, better delivered ball, but this time Kelly cannot secure the ball there. Might have been thrown a little bit high, and Kelly, I mean, he only stands at 6'2", and even though he's got a pretty big size to him, McCormick's still throwing that ball at 6'5", and that might have been a little high.
And there was a defensive back coming in hot for California. He would have caught that ball. He might have been down with an injury. He would have gotten hit hard.
Yeah. The Trojans snuffed that out well. Brownsville will line up here, 2nd down and 10. And as the game goes along, we'll talk about more of the games we'll be doing this year. CTV, another great slate of games. And McCormick, play action this time, rolls out to the left, fires. He's got Kelly's time. He's got first down. Breaks the tackle, loses the ball out of bounds. So it'll be a fumble on Brownsville, but luckily for the Falcons, it will go out of bounds. But great play call gets Brownsville in business.
And great double play action fake there. Fake to the fullback fakes to the halfback. And scrolls out to his left. And is able to find a receiver open in the middle of the field and give them a good first down here in California territory on the 39-yard line.
And they've been trying to run that play action play where they rolled McCormick out of the pocket, but he's had no time to throw because he's always had a couple Trojans in his face, like Collins and Blitzky as well. But now this time he had plenty of protection, probably some of the best protection we've seen all game.
Still under pressure, though.
Under pressure, but he got the ball off in time, and Kelly was wide open for his first catch of the game. So now Brownsville, deepest in the California territory they've been all game. McCormick, he goes for the deep ball. He wants Kelly, incomplete. Great double coverage there for the California Trojans. One of them was Jordan Campbell. The other one looks like it was Ryan.
Wouldn't that have been something if Kelly were to make that catch? He bobbled it a little bit. He had the ball in his possession slightly, but just couldn't keep it up there as there were two California players all over him.
And McCormick's showing off his arm there, so he's got a pretty good arm that we've seen him. He's delivered the ball downfield. But that time there, the coverage was just there for the Trojans. And Mason Kelly, too, for Brownsville, he's only a junior. Both of these teams have a lot of talent that is going to be here for another year or two. These teams can establish their core for the next couple years. They're going to be in great shape as 30 seconds left here in the first half. Brownsville 2nd down and 10 from the California 39-yard line out of the shotgun. McCormick back to pass. He looks over the head of Tyler Herman. It'll be 3rd down.
And just overthrowing it again there. And he was covered pretty well there, too. Good man coverage against the Brownsville wide receivers. It's now 3rd and 10. You got to expect it's 4-down territory here for Brownsville right now.
Oh, well, definitely. And the fact that it's also 26 seconds left in the half, what are the Trojans going to do with that allotted amount of time left?
I would just take a knee.
You take a knee. You're up 20-0. You're getting the ball back. But, hey, they did get an 81-yard touchdown pass on one play. So they get that success again. But Brownsville now faced with a 3rd down and 10.
10 seconds on the play clock here for Brownsville.
We already had a delay of game penalty as one. And the thing is, McCormick can see the play clock as it's all in 1 second, gets it off just in time, over the middle, almost completed there by Kelly. Great coverage again over the middle that time for the Trojans. 4th down.
4th down with 22 seconds on the clock. If you're Brownsville, what kind of play do you call? Do you call another pass play, or do you possibly run up the field and try to run out some of the clock?
Well, Coach Jason House will take a timeout here to talk that over with his Brownsville squad here. That will be their final timeout of the first half. And we also have to have another announcement as well, if that our PCN high school game of the week that we do every year. We partner with PCN. It's always a great shoot. Last year was Washington Mount Pleasant. This year, we're going to the Rose Bowl of the Mon Valley, Greensburg Central Catholic and Charleroi. That is a non-conference game. Greensburg Central Catholic staying in single A with Clareton and Jeanette. Charleroi in the Century Conference as well. But Charleroi getting some statewide exposure. Good for them.
And Greensburg Central Catholic as well. Good exposure for them as they're from 2 different areas in the state.
The last time Greensburg Central Catholic was on PCN was when they were in the state final against Lancaster Catholic in AA in 2009. It's McCormick back to pass here, 4th down under pressure, and down he goes. Braden Petrucci on the sack for the Trojans, and there's a penalty flag down as well.
It'll be interesting to see who this is on. Possibly against California.
That is now 4 sacks for the Trojans.
And wouldn't that be something if it was actually against California?
Yeah, gives Brownsville new life. 16 seconds left. They don't have any timeouts, though. That's the problem. They knew they kind of thought probably would have passed. I mean, go for it. You're deep enough in California territory and with not a lot of time left that they could have ran something like that. Because the case, if the clock stops, it's not the worst thing in the world.
As the official makes the call, holding
on who?
All right, trying to make sure they get this call right. Is holding against California.
Wow.
I'd say
defensive holding.
That's a 1st down. That's a 10-yard penalty.
And a big break for Brownsville here is they're going to have 16 seconds, but they move a little bit closer to try to get some points on the board.
They should be at the 30-yard line. California 30-yard line. That gives them 16 seconds to try to maybe go to the end zone here.
Yeah, they're spotting at the 29-yard line here, and with McCormick's arm, he can get to the end zone there from the 29-yard line.
Let's see if the wide receivers can possibly make something happen here, shake off the defender or something.
You saw Mason Kelly going downfield, another deep threat, DeJour Thomas. David Seddon Herman out deep recently as well. But have to deal with no timeouts here. But they will start the clock because remember that was a sack. Or at least I thought they would. Saw the official's arm going, but the clock's not started. Now it's started. Cormick under pressure, rolls to the right. He's going to take it himself. Goes up the middle, taken down, but that might be the final play of the first half, and it will be. No timeouts for Brownsville to stop it. And we will go to the locker rooms here with the Trojans up by 20 over Brownsville. Anthony, your thoughts on the first half?
Well, California was just a brick wall for most of the first half that Brownsville couldn't figure out. And then once they could, it was too late.
Yeah.
They really couldn't get down the field. Some early penalties plagued Brownsville early in this contest. And California's running game and passing game with that 81-yard touchdown pass really sets the tone here going into halftime with California getting the ball back to start the second half. They're up 20-0.
And Jonathan Wood with 2 touchdowns as well. But we will take a short break. Stay tuned for the second half here on CUTV. California leading Brownsville 20-0 here in Week 0.
The longest student-produced show on CUTV. Is back with highlights and analysis, scores and standings, and more. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Save Preset 1 for Cal U's best music. More music in the car, more music in the door, more music everywhere. This is 91.9 WCAL Power 92. The home of the Vulcan Nation, playing Cal U's best music. 91.9 WCAL. WCAL Power 92.
Back for its 3rd season. With more live episodes and brand new games. With host Stephen Ruffing. It's
The Multimedia Access Center is an open lab where California University students can work on an assignment, attend a workshop, print a document for class, or take advantage of a variety of services such as large format printing, web development, and graphic design. Located in the renovated Natali Student Center across from the student bookstore, the Mac Lab is also your home for OrgSync support and services. For hours of operation or for more information, stop by the Mac Lab, visit our website, like us on Facebook, or follow us on Twitter.
And welcome back to Trojan Stadium. We're about to start the second half of this Week 0 matchup between the Brownsville Falcons and the California Trojans. My name is Matt Hagee. Alongside me is Anthony D'Agostino again. And Anthony, as you see the Friday night lights here of Trojan Stadium, and I'll tell you what, there is nothing better in sports, in my opinion, than the Friday night lights of high school football.
Oh, man, it's something you miss when you go to a college atmosphere where it's usually afternoon games. I always loved being under the lights for football, whether I was in the band or playing football in junior high. Just a great atmosphere, especially with the electric stands and all these loyal fans, especially out here in the WPIAL. Great fan base out here.
There's a lot of people out here tonight since it's such a local matchup, first game of the season. You know, always when the season starts, it doesn't matter how you finished last season or what the experts are predicting for you this season. You start the season 0-0. Everybody at week 1 has a chance to win the WPIAL championship, and everybody, you can see a lot of excitement here for these fan bases as the season starts here. The Trojans are up 20-0 here, as without teasing our high school football. You mentioned college football. With the Cal Vulcans, we got another slate of games coming up this season, as always. California kicks off in our home of Eastern Pennsylvania at Cheney. This is going to be Cal's first time playing at Cheney or against Cheney any football game in 2011, and that will be our kickoff game September 10th at 1 o'clock. And with the new coach, Gary Dunn, who's, such a tremendous guy, a great hire for the usher Cal football into a new era, and that was his debut game, and I can't be more excited.
I can't either. He is probably one of the nicest guys.
Seriously, yeah.
And really wants to get this football team involved in not only the school but the community
Yes.
as well.
That's
and
a big thing.
he talked to the marching band this year.
How cool is that?
First time ever that we know of. And he had the football team there at California's night practice today. Not today, a few days
Tuesday,
ago.
yeah.
And just, that's something you just haven't seen before.
That's
really.
great. Like that, having a connection between the marching band and the football team is just great stuff. As former marching band member, former Cal band member, I was so happy to see that. As we're going to get started here, Shandon Marshall kicks it off for Brownsville, and it'll be taken by Ryan here as Ryan bounces it out to the left side. Ryan looking for a block, knocked out of bounds, just shy of midfield. And I'll tell you what, Anthony, Coach Joyce Ryan, great return to start this second half here for the Trojans.
It was a huge return, and we see in Brownsville have some pretty good returns. Now California getting some returns here, as that's the first time they've been kicked off to.
Yeah. It's the first time we had to call Shandon Marshall's name because we didn't know who was going to be doing the kicking for Brownsville. But California up 20-0 here. They've dominated offensively, but Brownsville's had a lot of fundamental issues. It's the week zero. It's an unfamiliar territory for these teams. Earliest these teams have started, normally they still have a second scrimmage, but they chose Brownsville and Cal, two of the teams that chose of having a week zero game instead of a scrimmage. And the other thing with Brownsville is Brownsville's been getting beat in the trenches badly.
That they have, and the offensive line has been really taking a beating by the California defense. Now California has a chance to show what they can do on offense here.
And Austin Grillo will go back to pass here. Under pressure, scrambles to the far side of the field, looking for Taylor, and it is dropped. And Cass Taylor got things started with an 81-yard touchdown catch and run, and that got the Trojans a 6-0 lead. But for Brownsville here, just basically, your defense hasn't played bad. They've just been it's just been the offense has been setting them up, the Trojans, with great field position.
Yeah, and just on that last play there, the quarterback under pressure got away there. The wide receiver had to come back for it, and his momentum, he got it right in his chest pad, which made it bounce off and out, incomplete there. But just, good heads-up play by the wide receiver to come back for that ball.
Grillo will line up out of the shotgun here on 2nd down and 10. See Jonathan Wood as his sidecar. 2 touchdowns for Wood in the first half. And he'll give the ball to Wood this time. He takes it up the middle, breaks a tackle. Here goes Wood, 40 to the 33-yard line here. Helmet goes off one of the Brownsville players, but Jonathan Wood picking up right where he left off in the first half. But it looks like we're going to see an injured California Trojan in the backfield here.
And that is number 66, Ben Martin, the 5'10 junior, the center actually for this California team, and maybe just cramping up here in the humidity out here.
Yeah, and that's something you can come back from. That's one of the things we expected with these guys really battling out there. You can see the athletic trainer working on his calf and his hamstring there. So it's most likely a cramp, and he'll just have to go off the sideline, walk it off. But with that heat and humidity tonight, with the sweat coming out of these players, the muscles, they're gonna tense up out there. And they're working hard, especially those linemen. They're working hard, and they're creating these holes for this California Trojan run game to get going.
Yeah, and Wood on that play, Jonathan Wood just breaking straight up the middle, and California's offensive line, like you talked about, just really opening up those holes on this, I guess you can say, smaller Brownsville defensive line. And California's offensive line just manhandling this Brownsville defensive line right now.
And we saw that on those last couple of drives there. Jonathan Wood, 2 touchdowns. Cass Taylor with the other one. The reason why Cal High doesn't have 21 points is because they tried a 2-point conversion on the first touchdown play, and it failed. But they're up 20-0 here. But Martin comes off the field. He looks to be okay, and the Trojans will have the ball with 11:34 left here in the third quarter. 1st and 10 at the Brownsville 33. Grillo will go under center here. And remember, we saw a lot of Jelani Stafford to start the game, but they really been going to the wood as Grillo is going to go option. He's got to keep it himself. He's got a lane to the left side, cuts it back upfield to the 25-yard line here. Penalty flag, late penalty flag coming out here. But for the Trojans, that was a good-looking run by Grillo.
It was a great run by Grillo, and it'd be interesting to see what happened with the penalty flag. It was really late. Maybe another personal foul call here.
See what the penalties have really been stacking up for Brownsville, but the Trojans had a couple costly penalties that let Brownsville drive at the end of the first half, keep going, where they got inside the 30-yard line of the Trojans, the deepest they've gone all game. Unfortunately for the Brownsville, they ran out of time, but it looks like the penalty will wipe out the good run by Grillo.
And it is a personal foul call against California. Referees really running a tight ship here.
A lot of penalties so far, but like I said, you expect that as this point of the game, this point of the season being the week 0, and while we have a chance to, a couple games that are going on during this game, at halftime in the Battle of the Bridge, Charleroi up 23-13 over Monessen. That's pretty impressive considering Charleroi did not have a win last season.
No, they didn't. We saw them have a tough loss last year. Just heartbreaking there. Would have been a big win for them if they were able to have that.
Yeah, and the big play in that game as Wood will take it up the middle for about a 2-yard game. The big play in that game, Charleroi senior receiver Trey Duyan ran a punt back. It looked like Charleroi was going to run Derry out of the stadium, but unfortunately for the Charleroi, Duyan ended up getting hurt on their next drive and was lost for the season. And then you lose a talented player like Duyan. Duyan's now at Slippery Rock joining Chicard Berry, but Slippery Rock and Cal really raiding the WPIAL to stack up their rosters now with Dunn and also new coach Lutz up at Slippery Rock.
And you're talking about WPIAL players. We saw a picture of the California Vulcans squad there, and there was a lot of WPIAL players there. And two that we've seen a lot on CTV, Jimmy Pierce and Chad Livingston joining the team.
Wall Highlands, yep. And a lot of guys we saw last year on our Game of the Week, South Union Township Game of the Week, as Wood takes the handoff here. But it's great seeing it. I mentioned Caleb Cox earlier for Frazier, and all in that area. One of the big things that Coach Dunn wanted was he wanted to utilize the area, because this is like a great brand. I mean, WPIAL is one of the best, if not the best conferences in all of Pennsylvania. I'd say probably the only conferences that can snack up for what the WPIAL means is Suburban one out in Philly that has North Penn, and also the Mid-Penn Commonwealth that has Central Dauphin East, and Harrisburg and Bishop McDevitt as well.
Bishop McDevitt's a big one there. LaShawn McCoy, previous Eagle player, came out of Bishop McDevitt.
Matt Johnson, Noah Spence, former Ohio State player. He's in the NFL now after kind of getting his life back together at Eastern Kentucky. As Grillo goes back to pass here under pressure, and down he goes. Brownsville stacking him up there. We see Marshall as one of the guys down there. Believe they're going to credit the sack on number 56 there for Brownsville.
You can credit to a lot of them.
Yeah, that is true.
There was about 4 or 5 guys in there.
is another one we saw there. But it's a great pressure there, and it brings up a 4th down for California.
And finally, the defensive line for Brownsville running right through the offensive line for California. It's a 4th and 21 for California. 29, excuse me.
Man, did Brownsville ever need that stop after California got that great return by Ryan, and then Wood had that great run, but the personal foul penalty kind of killed California's drive as Mock gets this punt off. It's a decent punt. So it's to be taken by Herman here on the far side of the field. He's reverses field, cups at the middle, and gets tackled at about the 38-yard line there. So a decent looking run there by Herman. You can see that elusiveness there. As you saw, he was way on the left side, the far side of the field, and he cut it back up the middle and got a pretty decent gain out of that.
Yeah, another good gain by the Brownsville special teams unit there as getting that punt return. And we'll see what they can do again here. It's still 20-0, the same score as it was going to halftime. And maybe Brownsville can march down the field here in the new half, talk about something in the locker room. And maybe they come out with a little momentum here if they can get these first downs.
They can take what they had on that last drive. Because like I said, they just ran out of time on that last drive. They were driving for a possible score, but they just didn't have enough time. McCormick will take the ball under center here at their own 37-yard line. 8:13 left here. Harmon, decent start there on the drive. Looks like he got about 3-4 yards on the run.
Not a bad run there, as California's defense was playing the run. They're showing blitz, and luckily he got past the line of scrimmage there to get without a 3-yard pickup.
I'll call it 3 there, but considering some of the runs Herman's had, that's a pretty good one. The longest run was that long first down run. It was about a 12-yard gain from Quadir Johnson, the fullback, that kept the drive going as the first half came down to a close. It's like Lucas Ham will line up behind McCormick in the backfield. Sends Marshall in motion. And it'll be misdirection handoff to Ham. Plows his way forward, gets a couple yards.
Yeah, 1 or 2 yards on the carry there, giving him a 3rd and about 4. So definitely a manageable spot here for Brownsville. But again, it comes down to whether or not they can pick up this first down.
Yes, and it's a first down they need, 3rd and 5. But considering that it's only 7:08 left in the third quarter, they're running out of chances to make up a 20-point deficit. And this Brownsville team has not proven that they can have a quick strike offense where they can go boom, boom, boom. If we get a couple stops, we can really challenge for this game. They need to really conserve the time and make most quick, but it's be tough to do that. It's a quick screen pass to Kelly. That's not going to get him a first down.
That's about 2 yards on that pass.
Just 2 yards in the play. It's Kelly's second reception. They've been trying to have that screen pass out to Kelly, and that was the first time it was successful at about the 3 there. We'll see what it looks like. Brownsville will be punting. McCormick comes off the field looking very frustrated, and Brownsville will punt it away again, something we've been seeing a lot. It's 4th and 2 here, but
watch out for the fake.
Yeah,
possibly a fake.
What do you have to lose here? You're down 20 points. There's only 6:17 left in the third quarter. Even it's not the fourth quarter yet, but you're running out of time. And you have a couple good athletes holding up there. It's Ham, but Ham will punt this. Good protection, great punt, and Ryan muffs it. Ryan picks it up. He's going to keep running. He's going to really back it up. Wow, he makes a man miss. Cuts it back up the middle. Look at Coach Ice Ryan. A little bit of excitement. He only ended up getting 5 yards on that, but that was a pretty exciting 5 yards.
It was an exciting 5 yards because he kind of messed up a little bit. He botched the punt and then started running backwards. He got up to about the 10-yard line. Almost was taken down, but he was able to cut it back and get 5 yards in from the 10-yard line.
I couldn't see what Brownsville was doing there on the run, but while we have a chance, Anthony, let's talk about that Springdale Jeff Morgan game next week. We'll have coverage of that on CUTV, a full truck shoot, and really kind of the first game that we expected to do this season at Jeff Morgan. First time you and I are going to be going to Jeff Morgan, because we haven't done a game at Jeff Morgan in about 4 or 5 years.
No, but we've covered Jeff Morgan a lot lately. Jeff Morgan Carmichael's and Jeff Morgan Cal last year.
Jeff Morgan Carmichael's in the black and blue bowl we did 2 years in a row. Wood gets tackled there by Mason Kelly, a good open field tackle. But Jeff Morgan's played Springdale the past 2 years, and they've not looked very good against some Springdale fellow single A team. I believe Springdale is still in single A, but they're just in the yes, they are. They're stayed in the Eastern Conference, the old Eastern Conference here with Clareton, Greensburg Central Catholic, Jeanette, Leechburg, Riverview. So they keep those local rivalries with Leechburg and Riverview. But Jeff Morgan tonight against Chartiers Houston so far down 34-0 at halftime.
That's a surprising one there.
It's better. I guess it's best to get that one out of the way as a non-conference game as you get prepped for a single A schedule. Because Chartiers Houston Double A, they're going to be playing with Brownsville. As Grillo goes back to pass, and he's looking, and it is caught there by Petrucci, and he's going to keep running. Petrucci with a lane in front of him. He's going to go all the way for the touchdown. Braden Petrucci and the Trojans really putting a stranglehold on this game.
And that was at least an 80-yard touchdown pass again for California, and just a little bit of a mismatch in coverage there. And threw a pass, rolling to his right, and right down the middle of the field, and he was wide open for the catch.
And I was looking, it looked like he was trying to go to Cass Taylor again, but he was Petrucci wide open. He got a convoy in front of him leading the end zone. So an 81-yard touchdown pass and a 76-yard touchdown pass now. So Austin Grillo, he's not completed a lot of passes tonight, but when he's had to, they've gone for a pretty long way. As this snap is fumbled, so Cal will not get the extra point there. So, Colin Phillips was having issues with the snap before. He dropped it before here, but we will go to commercial break here. California Trojans extending their lead over Brownsville 26-0 here with 4:55 in the third quarter. Stay tuned for more action here on CUTV.
Greensburg Central Catholic at Charleroi. Waynesburg at Southmoreland. Baldwin at Connellsville. Beth Center at Brownsville. Fraser at Bentworth. Bishop Canavan at Carmichaels. The longest running high school coverage in southwestern PA is on CUTV.
That we plan to do and how next week everyone's
CUTV's high school football game of the week. Springdale at Jeff Morgan.
And welcome back to Trojan Stadium here. As we saw in that last drive, the California Trojans are up 26-0 over Brownsville with 40:55 left here in the third quarter. There was an injured Falcon down here on the play. Looks like it was number 20. Looks like 20. That was Lucas Ham on the. He was injured, and he's played a big role in Brownsville's offense tonight. So good to see him get up on his own power.
Good block there by the Brownsville special teams, their field goal blocking unit. It wouldn't have been something they were able to pick that up and take it back for two.
Yeah, but Mock was smart to just fall on the ball because it really didn't have a lot of like speed rolling that late. It didn't really have Brownsville a chance to pick it up and try to run. That would have been 2 points. That would have been.
Maybe Brownsville's momentum they need.
Yeah, I mean anything possible. Now it's becoming a big uphill battle for the Falcons, down 26-0. Austin Gurley with his second touchdown pass this one time, 76-yard to Braden Petrucci. And I'd really like to see his yards after catch. But Dustin Mock about to kick this away. 5th time he's been doing this on this game, gets this one off. It's like, Ham will take it. Almost made a nice one-handed catch on the return there. Cuts it back. Gets to the 25. Still going. Out to the 32-yard line. That's the one thing Brownsville has been doing best in this game has been the nice kick returns.
Even with the mishandle there, trying to go with a one-handed catch. Great return there. As we take a look at our social media, Matt, we're going to tease our social media. And first, we're going to tease our Twitter page because you see on the bottom of your screen there, we had a Twitter poll. We wondered who do you think would win the game, and people actually thought Brownsville would win 60% to 40%.
Yeah, and you know what? I can believe that too because Brownsville's AA, Cal single A. Sometimes it makes a big difference in the way Brownsville finished last year, the way they played last year, and the Trojans didn't really have the season they wanted last year, so I think a high expectation for Brownsville, kind of uncertainty for the Trojans. I can see why people picked that as well. So McCormick lines up by the I formation here, gives it to Quadir Johnson, goes up for about a 2 or 3 yard gain. But if we're going to see, you can see all of our shoots this year on our YouTube page at CUTV Sports 1. You can see previous high school games you did, high school roundups, basically all of our coverage, all of our shoots in studio and out, you can see on our YouTube page anytime, anywhere, CUTV Sports 1. Especially a good tool for our parents that live out in eastern Pennsylvania. And we also have a new Twitter page to follow this year, is at GOTW30. Since it's our 30th season, looks like a Trojan player cramping up on the far side of the field. Can't see who that is. But what you can see, the cramps really taking a toll on some of these players here on this hot night. But as mentioned before about this GOTW30 page, we want this season to be very involved with the fans. We want the fans to get involved with our games, and we also have prizes for them. So we made this page to really promote all our games to do this year, and I think it's a great tool.
And GOTW30. Look that up on Twitter, follow it, and follow all of the action on Twitter on our CUTV_PA Twitter page where we talk about the games that are coming up that we're going to be doing as well. But Game of the Week 30, a huge anniversary for CUTV.
Huge.
30 years. Since 1986 we've been doing high school football games. And the longest running broadcast of high school sports. in Western Pennsylvania.
And as we were talking about all going along in chronological order of all the games we're doing, we're going to go the week after our PCN shoot, September 30th. This will be a CUTV first. We've been doing this for 30 years, but we've never done one thing. It's one of the things we've never done. We've never gone to Southmoreland. And this year we will, as we will have them playing Waynesburg from Russ Grimm Field. So, Anthony, a new place for CUTV, a new place that the Truck's never been before, and a pretty good interstate conference matchup with Waynesburg. Southmoreland looking to break a playoff-less streak that dates back to 1979. Let's go back to action here. McCormick under pressure. He's going to go down before he can even turn around to look downfield, and that's been the story of the night for the Brownsville Falcons. 5 sacks for this Trojans defense.
And he just really cannot handle the blitz from the California Trojans. Luckily, he's going to get stopped from forward progress, or he'd be back down at the 15-yard line.
And it will be 3rd down here for Brownsville. After they had a decent run with Johnson, that just got pushed all the way back. 3:42 left in the 3rd quarter. But I mentioned about Southmoreland there, Russ Grimm Field. Russ Grimm, Hall of Famer, played at Pitt, was part of the Hogs for the Washington Redskins offensive line that helped the Redskins win a couple Super Bowls and appear in a couple Super Bowls in the 80s. The stadium was destroyed. The stadium field was destroyed by flooding back in 2013. Southmoreland actually had to play all their games that season at Adamson Stadium at Cal U, and Southmoreland had a great start to the season last year. Looked like this could be where they stopped the streak of not making the playoffs, but it just went all downhill from there. This is a new season for Southmoreland. I think they have some reason to be excitement in a different conference. Different teams in as well. McCormick here on 3rd and 17, and he'll just hand this off up the middle. Not getting a lot of yards on the play there, bring up 4th down, so another 3 and out for the Brownsville offense. Looked like Herman on the carry there.
And Brownsville's running game just not exactly what it was looking for today. Is California's defense really plugging up all those holes, and Brownsville's tried to pass before and it was overthrown, or there was a sack. So right now, California defense has all the answers for this Brownsville offense,
and they could potentially be getting some good field position with Coach Ice Ryan back to punt here. And this punt is blocked. They're going to have really good field position and possibly more. Recovered by, looks like Colin Phillips there at the 2-yard line. Anthony, I was waiting for this to happen.
And California's been sending the punt and block the entire game, and they got 3 guys in front of the punter. Not exactly sure who it was that blocked the punt.
I think it was Jordan Campbell, actually, number 4. So my mistake there, but great. Just Brownsville had so many instances where they were so close to having that punt blocked, and and unfortunately for the Falcons, it happened, and now the Trojans will set up at about their own 3-yard line. So they've been really in business to extend this lead.
And I mean, just so many highlights for this California team. And what are we going to choose for high school roundup?
Seriously.
Our sports analysis show.
And Anthony, that's all you this year.
Yes,
Anthony,
it is.
Be bringing on I'm not thinking that I'd be back here, but fortunately enough, sports information director Matt Kiefer, as we see Jonathan Wood here, thought about doing a halfback pass, but he's just going to take it in for his 3rd touchdown of the game, a hat trick, if you will, for Jonathan Wood.
Jonathan Wood just going crazy right now, 32-0 for California, and it all comes off that punt block there. You knew it would happen at some point. Just unbelievable start by this California team, and right now they feel like they can do anything.
Right, and they're showing a lot of weapons that's going to bode well for them this season. It'll be interesting to see how they stack up with their teams in the Tri-County South as well, if they're having an impressive performance like this against Brownsville. But Jonathan Wood with a very, as I like to say, dat dude performance. As the ball is spotted here, Mock gets the kick up. Kick's good. Snap was good, much better than the last time here. So the Trojans, with 2:33 left here in the 3rd quarter, they are up 33-0 over Brownsville, looking to finish the Falcons off. Stay tuned for more action here on CUTV.
Avella at California. Bell Vernon at Ringgold. Greensburg Central Catholic at Charleroi, Waynesburg at Southmoreland, Baldwin at Connellsville, Beth Center at Brownsville, Fraser at Bentworth, Bishop Canavan at Carmichaels. The longest running high school coverage in southwestern PA is on CUTV.
And welcome back to Trojan Stadium here as there's 2:33 left here in the third quarter. The California Trojans extending their lead over Brownsville 33-0 after the block punt and an easy 3-yard touchdown for Jonathan Wood. But I'll tell you, Anthony, we didn't see Jonathan Wood last year, but we're seeing a lot of him tonight. And he's not the biggest kid out in the field, but he's having a heck of a game.
He is 5'8", 183 junior for this California team. And we're looking, maybe when we see them again here against Avella, we're going to look to see how he does again.
And Mock gets the kickoff here. So he's going to kick it. A couple of guys there. Looks like Marshall's going to take it. Marshall bounces it out to the left side. And a good open field tackle there for California. That was Devin Lawlier. So the Trojans will start at about the 26-yard line. But I was mentioning before, California ran that touchdown play that I graduated undergrad from Cal U, December 2015, and job search was not really going out well, and I was looking to work in college athletics, and because I just love college sports so much, and our sports information director, Matt Kiefer, had a second graduate assistant position open and gave me the call in the summer. And I said, absolutely, couldn't turn it down, come back to Cal, and what a better way to start my career at this school I did all my work at, school that I know the best. I know the players, coaches, and it's great to be back. It's great to be able to do not at all as a lot of CTV coverage as I used to do, but fortunately enough, 4 high school games I'm looking to do this year. As McCormick back to pass here, overshoots everybody. He was looking for Herman over the middle there.
And he overshoots him because, again, California coming in with the rush. Had 2 guys right in front of his face. He had no other choice or to take the sack.
Yeah, he had to get that off. And I'm sure McCormick's getting tired of getting dropped in the backfield there, and they're just trying to get something going. He's also just got such a laser pass there over the middle. Be second down and 10, 2:21 left here in the third quarter. Just trying to get at least something going here, but as the Trojans continue to extend this lead, we might see the Trojans start throwing in some of the backups as this ball is handed off here. Herman breaks a couple tackles, loses the ball, and the penalty flag comes down late here in the backfield. Looks like Herman recovered the ball. That just would have been even more disastrous for Brownsville if another turnover.
It's going to be interesting to see if this is on Brownsville or not, because it looked like there was a late hit there. After the play, like there was some sort of argument going on.
Yeah, I saw Jelani Stafford kind of put his arms up if he was involved in some way of why the penalty flag was. There's a late flag after Herman was tackled after he recovered the fumble.
Almost lost the ball there, giving California a prime field position.
Yeah, another turnover. That's not what.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, ejection on Brownsville.
Oh
He's
my
gone.
Goodness. Who got tossed? Looks like number 56 for Brownsville.
That's Evan Alexco.
Oh man,
the sophomore offensive lineman.
Oh my goodness. That must have been something fierce. I did not see what was going on there.
I believe what the official showed, maybe I guess you can say 2 flaps of the arms. Like he got called for 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties.
Oh wow!
And if you get your second one, you're tossed.
Yep.
So he might have gotten 2 in one bout.
And that's just a trying night for Brownsville.
And you just got to think that's just frustration.
Yeah, it is.
Right now.
Oh, and absolutely. I can see why these Falcons players are frustrated. Sometimes you just got to keep your cool. And Alesco was doing a pretty good job out there as well tonight. So tough break for the Falcons. They send in Floyd Miller, freshman, to take Alesco's spot on the offensive line here. And again, Brownsville just loses another down here, as they'll be faced with a 3rd down and 10. I formation. McCormick hands ball up to Herman, tries to bounce out the left side. He does. Looking for a block, breaks a couple tackles, gets close to the first down, but still short of the first down. It'll be a 4th down for Brownsville.
4th down and about 3 for Brownsville. They're going to keep their... No, they will be sending out the punting unit again. As it looked like the head coach, Jason House, might have been talking to a play to Jake McCormick, but that will not be the case. They'll be sending out the punting unit again. Look out again.
Yep.
California may be sending them.
Absolutely. And you know, in that case, I mean, I wouldn't have minded at all if Brownsville would have went for it on 4th down. Again, what do you have to lose? You're only 2 yards away from the 4th down. You're down 33 points in the 3rd quarter, and your punt just got blocked. So if Coach House didn't trust his blocking unit, but Ham gets this one off here. Coach Ice Ryan takes the ball, tries to reverse his field, breaks a tackle, cuts it back, plows over a man at the 33-yard line there. Coach Ice Ryan's had a couple fun kick returns. They're not getting a lot of yards. Obviously he's not going for a touchdown, but he's exciting to watch. That one of these times that maybe this season, hey, he might break one of those.
And he's a freshman.
Yeah.
He's a freshman out here for California. And
2 young teams.
Really 2 young teams here. And Coach Ryan doing all this right now as a freshman. Can't wait to see what he does as he progresses through his tenure here at California.
And he's going to might become a big stagnant of this offense because you lose Cass Taylor this year. He's a senior. Braden Petrucci, who had that long 76-yard catch and run, he's a junior, so he'll come back. But having a freshman like that, he's going to go a long way in the future. He's going to get a lot of playing time with being a small roster that California has as being a single-A school. So they'll start here at their own 33-yard line. 55 seconds left here in the 3rd quarter, up 33-0. Grillo is going to hand off to Stafford. Stafford gets about a yard or two. It'll bring up 2nd down. So it's Stafford he was the lone tailback there.
Interesting to note, too, we saw, last time we saw an ejection was at the Fraser Best Center game 2 years ago,
right.
I believe.
Yep.
And those players actually had to leave the premises.
Yeah.
Right now, number 56, Evan Olesko, is actually able to be on the sideline, so he's able to watch the game.
I mean, and that was a big thing with Best Center Fraser. That was an absolute brawl. I mean, here, again, we didn't see what happened. But I guess it's just like not really. I mean, he just has to sit out. I guess it's like, you know, what's the point? But it'll be 2nd down and 8 here as looks like the Trojans, if under 10 seconds here, might run one more play before the 3rd quarter ends, and they will. Pitch toss here to Wood, juggles the toss, and he'll go up the field here to the 36-yard line. So that will end the 3rd quarter with the Trojans up 33-0. Anthony, as we go to the last quarter here tonight of week 0, a shoot that we didn't even think we were going to do until last week, until I spoke with our director, Gary Smith, and told him, I said, hey, there's a lot of week 0 games, especially one local here at California High School, and we have a new system for broadcasting games that we're debuting tonight, and what a better test to do it in a special week 0 edition of CUTV's High School Football Game of the Week.
Yeah, and you can see there on your screen the crew we have here today, and a crew that we got to really thank today because the school year hasn't even technically started yet.
Starts Monday.
It starts on Monday, so thanks to everyone who was able to come out and be a part of this crew and help test out this new system that we have that will really set us apart from other schools.
Yep, and with us announcing, also have Cheyenne White on camera, Ryan Kaufman on camera, also Brett Dice on camera. Brett Dice's first high school football game as part of the crew, and also Director Gary Smith running the show, running the graphics, and running basically everything else. So, and always does a great job, and you know, it's really I really was looking forward to this when we got the confirmation to do this, because I mean I'm a high school football junkie. I love seeing games every week, and the fact that I joined CUTV, it's going to be tough for the games that I'm not going to be able to see if I'm doing something with sports information with volleyball or soccer. And one of those games that I will be missing this year is the game after Waynesburg Southmoreland, Baldwin at Connellsville. And this is again, Baldwin a school that we normally don't see because they were in a different Quad A conference than Connellsville was. Now they're in 5A with Connellsville, and they'll be going head-to-head October 7th here on CUTV, as we're going to see a screen pass here. Coach Ice Ryan's got a first down and more. Inside Brownsville territory, spun out of bounds at about the 45-yard line there, so we see a lot more Coach Ice Ryan.
I like this Coach Ice Ryan kid.
Yeah, me too.
He's very quick, and he can catch that screen pass in traffic and be able to maneuver his way through the bodies there and get a huge first down game for the California Trojans. And this guy could become a superstar for this team.
Really? Yes, definitely. He could be involved a lot more. We'll see how he does against Davila in 2 weeks. And as the game becomes, it's 33-0, 11:48 left. We just started the fourth quarter. The odds of Brownsville coming back are looking more unlikely in the second. So you might see some backups for the Trojans I mentioned before come in here. But Austin Grillo, starting quarterback, still in the game. Jonathan Wood, 3 touchdowns still in the game, and he might have another one right here, right up the middle, untouched. Number 4 for Jonathan Wood. Hold the phone. There's a penalty flag back here. We'll see who that's on. But Jonathan Wood might have just got his 4th touchdown of the night.
We will see what this is on. But Jonathan Wood just kicked it into another gear to get past the defense on that one. There was no way he was going to be able to get touched on that one to get that touchdown there, but it may be coming back. We'll see.
Now, I saw a block as he was running well behind Wood running. So if they do call a block in the back, that's tough because Wood was long gone.
There's no need for a block.
No, I'll tell you, after the first series, Jonathan Wood kicked it in the high gear, and he's not looked back since. What a performance.
As we see the call there, it is a block in the back penalty on California, and that's a tough one.
Yeah.
A penalty that just didn't need to happen.
No, it's going to be a spot foul, so Cal's still going to have good field position, but again, it takes away. Jonathan Wood could have been 4 touchdowns, and again, that could still happen. They still have a drive to keep going. He could run it. Who knows? He could run it back on this this next play here, but looks like they'll spot it at the Falcon 34-yard line here.
And
it'll be a first down.
It should be a first down and 10 there for the California Trojans as the chain gang moves along.
Looks like Coach Ice Ryan's going to line up. It's the second back behind Garillo.
You wonder if they're going to run the same play.
They might, just with a different tailback. I mean, you saw Ryan's got a lot of speed. Let's see. They're going to go to Ryan. He's got a block, cuts it to the left. Here goes Ryan. Tackled by Mason Kelly at the 20-yard line. They were close.
A touchdown-saving tackle there by Mason Kelly, as that was a good fake to the fullback and then handed off to Coach S. Ryan, who was able to cut to the outside. And what a job there by Kelly to wrap him up by the ankles and trip him up, or he would have been gone for a six-point touchdown there.
And a 14-yard gain there for Ryan on first down. Gets another first down for the Trojans. And, they missed a touchdown, but the way they've been running the ball tonight, they could possibly make up for that. As we're going to see Grillo line up out of the shotgun here. They're going to keep Ryan as his sidecar. Take the snap, trying to get a block, drags a couple Brownsville players for about a 1 or 2 yard gain. So that play kind of looked busted in the beginning. He was looking for a block there, but he still made something out of nothing.
Yeah, he got about 2 yards on the carry. At least he wasn't tackled for a loss there.
Right.
And he kept his feet moving, which was good to see as well. You always want to keep your feet moving, even if you have some players on you.
And with the Trojans continue to go here, Jeff made updating that Jeff Morgan game 34-8. Now Jeff Morgan got on the board, and it's kind of a similar score that's been going on tonight. So maybe Brownsville could try to bust another play forward. Another score update as well. Tri-County South, former Tri-County South matchup. Bentworth and West Green. Bentworth up 35-12 over West Green. And Bentworth had a heck of a season. Look for more. Here's Jonathan Wood. Looking for the end zone, just tackled short of the goal line. It's going to be first and goal for the Trojans.
And Jonathan Wood just getting wrapped up by the ankles there. Not being able to get the extension into the end zone, but first and goal for the Trojans on the 4 yard line. And this Trojan team just has all the answers right now.
Yeah, they really do. And they're just hammering Brown. I mean, they were hammering Brownsville a lot more on the defensive line, but now it's just carried over to the offensive line. I think Brownsville's tired. I think California's just grinding them out right here. Now it's going to be interesting to see with the Trojans at their Falcons 2-yard line here. Who are they going to go with? Looks like Woods. It's going to be Stafford and Wood in the I formation here. See if Wood does get indeed his 4th touchdown. You probably think that they probably do want to get him his 4th touchdown, considering one got called off the board. This one's going to Stafford instead, and they'll get him his 1st touchdown of the game instead.
What a call there. They had the option of either faking it to the fullback or going to the halfback. They go to the fullback, and what a run by Stafford. He just powers his way through the middle of the field, right through all the defenders, and he gets some momentum fast.
Yeah, seriously. And he was already in the end zone basically before Brownsville could really get something. And Stafford, that big frame he has, they can just plow over anybody. He's going to be tough to tackle any time here. So right now, 39-0 Trojans. See if they can get the 40 right here. The extra point. Good snap, good hold, kick up. Kick's perfect. California Trojans having fun in week 0. Up 40-0 over Brownsville. Stay tuned for the rest of the game here on CUTV.
Back for its 3rd season. With more live episodes and brand new games. With host Stephen Ruffing. It's back for its 3rd season.
2-yard run from Jelani Stafford, his 1st touchdown of the game. And Anthony, unfortunately for Brownsville, that touchdown kicked in the mercy rule here, so it's going to be a running clock the rest of the game.
And last time I saw a mercy rule here at California was when they played Clareton.
That's a game that Trojan fans want to forget real quick. That was your first high school
But
game.
that was the opposite end of the spectrum. California is now giving the opposing team the mercy rule.
And you know what? And like I said I was saying that about Jeff Morgan in their game here, as we're going to see Shandon Marshall take the kick here. Decent return out to about the 34-yard line. Brownsville, it's not a conference game, so they still have time to come back here. And let's take a look at our next games once again. Next week, Springdale, Jeff Morgan mentioned it before. Jeff Morgan looking to take some revenge back on Springdale. Bounce back from Chartiers Houston tonight, and we'll probably have a poll for that as well. So you think Springdale's going to keep up the streak against Jeff Morgan, or Jeff Morgan now? Then our first soccer game of the year. We didn't get to do any soccer games because fortunately the weather, Mother Nature didn't work out with us. But Cal, Seton Hill, and women's soccer. And if a Cal Seton Hill women's soccer game can go like any of the other Cal Seton Hill games we've called in different sports, that's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, it really could be. And we saw Seton Hill football last year. Seton Hill, really good team coming into that game. California really knocking them off their horse there. And it was a tight game, and California finally broke away with it. But first time doing a soccer game for 2 years now.
Yeah.
We did one 2 years ago.
Last time we did a soccer game was last women's game we did was IEP and Cal, and that was a game where I had to run up a hill and came up out of breath against IEP. So that's good. That's going to be a great game, big rivalry there. And then our football game, our first Cal Vulcan football game, the debut of the Gary Dunn era, California at Cheney, and can't be more excited for that. As much it's not used. I'm not used to seeing Cal playing kind of like the bottom of the PSAC East. I'm used to Bloomsburg and Shippensburg the past couple of years, but Cheney still got to win that game. There's nothing about that. Any game's tricky, especially any road game. So California starts it off on the road against Cheney.
We'll be having all that coverage for you on CUTV. It'll actually be a Wirecast shoot.
Yes, and as will that soccer game. So.
We also are looking at possibly having a live streaming capability on our YouTube page, CUTV Sports 1. So keep an eye on our Twitter page, Facebook page, as well as we will say what games, if we can, do
Right.
live stream on our YouTube page through our Wirecast system, even truck shoots,
Right.
even away games for California Vulcans football.
And looks like the Trojans called a timeout here with 9:15 left in the game, and the Gary Dunn home debut will be a week later on September 17th against Millersville, a local school to us. More so you than me.
About 10
But-
minutes away from my house there,
Wait,
Matt.
basically, yeah. Millersville, I was there a couple years ago with Creighton Rabs and Cody Jeanette doing highlights for that game. So it'll be great to see a school close to us come back. And the next time we'll have Brownsville on our high school football game of the week. We love Falcon Stadium in Redstone Field, excuse me. And Brownsville, they're going to play Beth Center. That's going to be, that's exciting. Beth Center, Brownsville. It's a game that I feel like Brownsville might match up better against Beth Center, with Beth Center having basically a whole new team and a new coach.
Now, we thought Brownsville might match up well with California here today, and it came out just a little flat against this California team.
And again, but that's going to be in October. They're going to be more seasoned. They got a lot more practice under them, so we'll see. As this ball handed off here to Quadir Johnson, and that is Brownsville's senior night, and we've actually been to Brownsville senior night the last 2 seasons. The Dairy game was, and also the Dairy PCN shoot 2014 and the Bergenstown last year, last game of the season. But this is big right here because this is something we're gonna bring back again on our game of the week coverage. One of my favorite things to do is the hot dog score. Brownsville Falcons concession stand is the defending concession stand hot dog
And
score
why is
champions.
that, Matt?
Because they gave me a nice mug last year, coffee mug that I needed last year. They have Falcon fries, and they also have fried Oreos. But you know who else has fried Oreos? Cal High School. And the team that the concession stand they beat for it, Cal High School. As Tyler Herman has a nice run here for Brownsville, bounces it out to the right side, gets into Cal territory. One man to beat. He runs by everybody. Tackled at the 10-yard line there. A touchdown saving tackle there by Colin Phillips. But Tyler Herman brings the Brownsville faithful to their feet.
Finally.
Finally.
It took 3 quarters, basically, for Brownsville to get a huge run, and a great blocking by Brownsville, and a lucky break there for California to save that touchdown. Brownsville is in the red zone now for the first time in this game. Can they delete the shutout?
Yes, and that's that. You know what? That'd be a nice moral victory for Brownsville to get that touchdown, not have that labeled as this game labeled as a shutout. Man, Tyler Herman, we've been waiting all night for him to have a big play, and there it was. That's a lot of speed. He outran like 5 people there, and Colin Phillips there with a great open field tackle. So Brownsville, first and goal from the Trojan 9-yard line. McCormick back to pass. He looks. He fires. Incomplete. He was looking for Shandon Marshall there. Kind of a screen pass looking play there. So Brownsville, second down and goal.
And that was just underthrown there, kind of threw behind him as he was running that slant route, just threw behind him, didn't have a chance to really make a catch there.
And as we go under 7 minutes here in the fourth quarter with Brownsville, it'd be nice. You could see to go back to the running game here. They've had a couple nice short passes, a couple maybe like a halfback screen or something like that. That play can work out a lot, especially if the Trojans bring the blitz like they've been doing for most of the game. That leaves the halfback screen wide open. This ball is handed off here. So I believe that was Quadir Johnson again, the fullback. He's getting a couple carries.
And it gets him about a yard on the carry.
So it'll be third down and looks like 8 yards. So there's still got ways to go here. And it's not like, they have to get to the end zone. They can't not get in the end zone. Can't state the obvious enough there for these to-goal situations.
Now, if it's fourth down, would you kick the field goal, get the points, or would you end up going to the end zone?
McCormick pitches it out to Herman. Herman cuts it back, and touchdown, Brownsville.
Never mind the field goal.
Yeah, I was about to answer that after the play, but Tyler Herman there, great pitch, great couple moves. Brownsville's fans has something to cheer for. I can hear their coaches in the other room. That's great to see.
And as you said before, it's a moral victory right
Yes.
now. The game is over, but it also boosts your confidence that you're not that bad. You ran into a wall of California. You just couldn't break them, and then you finally did with Tyler Herman. He didn't get the touchdown, but on that third down play, he gets his touchdown.
Yeah. And that's great to see, especially, for the senior as well. And he's been through a lot with this Brownsville team. He's part of the new era that Jason House brought in last year and made some great plays past couple years. And he's actually going to be the holder here for Shandon Marshall. Ball spotted, kicks up, and good. So Brownsville avoids the shutout with a 9-yard touchdown run from Tyler Herman after he broke it up big to set up Brownsville goal to go. We have 5:36 left here in this Week 0 matchup. Stay tuned for the rest of this game here on CUTV.
CUTV News Center is California University of Pennsylvania's award-winning student television newscast. Your source for live, local, late-breaking news. Forecast from the CalU Weather Center. The region's latest entertainment news. Vulcan sports highlights and regional scoreboards with television news coverage you can't get anywhere else. Watch it live Thursdays on CUTV and on demand. CUTV News Center. Online all the time.
And welcome back to Trojan Stadium here in the fourth quarter. 40-7 California Trojans, but Anthony Brownsville gets their touchdown. Tyler Herman, the senior, and I think it definitely brought a smile to my face seeing the Brownsville fans on their feet cheering for their team. Finally, something to cheer about.
They got a lot of love for their Brownsville faithful. As we saw that when they played Bentworth last season.
Yes, yeah, definitely, and. Marshall kicks this off. Second time he's been able to do that. Coach Ice Ryan back on the return here, and he can break it loose, and he might have it right here. Coach Ice Ryan runs out of bounds as he had Herman bearing down on him, and he sets the Trojans up in great field position.
Coach Ice Ryan on that looked like he was jogging.
Yeah.
He didn't even look like he was in a full sprint. He was like he was gauging the field, jogging down the field a little bit. And he's like, I can't go anywhere. I'm just going to go out of bounds here.
Yeah, it looked like as I was about to say, it's like that kid can break it right here, and he might. But Herman was bearing down on him, cut off his lane. I'm going to go out of bounds, They're up 40-7. Quick score update. In the Battle of the Bridge, Charleroi up 23-21 over Monessen. So that game could become an instant class. And our good buddy Cal U and Cal Times along, Jose Negron covering the game for the Mon Valley Independent.
I look forward to reading that article.
Yeah, he's a great writer. You know what? I credit him to get my start at Cal Times. He was sports editor when I came in. He helped usher me in to be the sports editor for one semester. I'm forever grateful how he kind of kickstarted my journalism career. As California will look like the lineup in the I formation here.
Getting some audibles there, looked like.
5:09 left here in the contest. So like handoff here. He's going to bounce outside. That's Wood. Wood tackles. Actually, no, excuse me. That was
number 20 for California.
20's not even on our roster. So that was a great run regardless, though. For California as they look to continue to add to their lead.
And it is still Austin Grillo, the quarterback here for California.
And they're still keeping a lot of their starters in here. Coach Dillo is. There's under 4:39 left here in the game with California. I did not expect California to run the ball this well. This is just impressive.
Well, interesting to note, Austin Grillo is the sophomore.
Yeah.
And there's a quarterback, Colin Phillips. It's actually a junior above him in class.
Yeah, well, Austin Grillo had some time last year in that Jeff Morgan game when Casey Zijek wasn't out there, as this ball was handed off here, number 20, for the Trojans.
As they send in some substitutions now.
So they'll bring up a 2nd down and 7. We're about to go under 4 minutes here in the game. And, as we're winding down on the CUTV high school game of the week, as we've been talking about all the games, and now we're the second to last week of the season, the penultimate game of the week this season. Fraser at Bentworth, another site that CUTV hasn't been to in a while. Bentworth, and a Bentworth team that impressed everybody, making the playoffs, getting 7 wins last season. And they played Fraser at home last year, and they gave Fraser, other than Clareton beating them in the playoffs, they gave them a great battle. This ball fumbled here.
That'll be Brownsville football.
And California, it's like that could be their second turnover of the game, and it will be. So Brownsville getting the stop here on the Trojans, preventing them from getting more points than they already do. And Brownsville will take over here with 3:31 left. But as mentioned that before, Fraser only beat Bentworth 7-3 last season. And Bentworth really put a scare in that Fraser team that made it all the way to the single A semifinals until they ran into Clareton. And unfortunately, the past couple of years, when you run into Clareton, especially in the WPIAL, that's not going to end well. But Fraser kind of gave the Tri-County South respect on that run. They knocked out Southside Beaver in a big comeback playoff win, instant classic. The game that they really impressed everybody on was coming back against Shenango in the second round. I mean, not only finally getting the monkey off the back for Tri-County South winning a playoff game for the first time in a couple years. Then they get to the district semifinals. So we'll see how Fraser can do. Bentworth, one-hit wonder? Or could this be a continuation of a nice run here for Bentworth? As this snap is fumbled, Brownsville put in a new quarterback, Ray Brumley. He's a freshman, but he will fall on it here. A big break for Brownsville.
And obviously a new center as well, because the center was ejected from the contest, I believe, last time. And so just a mishandle there on the snap. Didn't get in those hands right. So it'll be 2nd down and 12 for the Brownsville Falcons.
And 2:44 left here in the ball game. Here will bring up 2nd down and 12. Looks like Quadir Johnson behind Brumley. And oh wow, he couldn't even get the handoff off. He'll get knocked in the backfield. But that just shows you that's basically this game in a nutshell.
Again, California. I mean, it looked like he bobbled the snap again a little bit. He had it, but when you bobble the snap, especially if it's the center's fault, the center can't get up and block for you.
Yeah.
So then you're kind of out of luck there if you're the quarterback.
He's lucky that wasn't a fumble, but that quick hesitation on the snap there costed him because Trojans are already in the backfield here.
That brings up a 3rd and 14 with 1:40 left.
3rd and 14. A couple more plays for Brownsville to run before this game concludes. Brumley a 3rd down and 14. Pitch toss, Johnson cuts it to the right, back up the middle, and gets dropped at about the 30-yard line here. It will be 4th down. Now with the clock winding down, would not be surprised if Coach House just leaves Brumley on the field here.
We have an injured player. That's the running back. And
he did take a big hit.
He did take a big hit. He takes his helmet off. He is in some pain. It looked like it was actually number 3, Monty Marsh for Brownsville that was actually running the ball on that one.
So hopefully he's okay there because that was a big hit. So we just hope he's okay. If it's just a cramp or something else, don't want to have injuries, especially in week 0. You know, that's one of the things. There's the PIAA. There's been that question. Some people want the second scrimmage to be removed altogether. They want to play less games. They think 16 is too much to play for a state title. That discussion's removed for another time. But
yes.
I mean, it's something that people can debate about. Like a lot of people debated about with all these classification changes and division changes and stuff. That I was not a fan of the 6A, the classification change. But it looks like Marsh will be coming off on his own power. Actually, that was Quadir Johnson. That got banged up, but look, great to see him running off his own power. He had that nice run. He actually gave Brownsville one of their first downs of the game. And with Brownsville wrapping this game up, how we will wrap up our CUTV High School Game of the Week season will be at Carmichael's. Carmichael's, one of our favorite places to go. They will be playing a team that, again, we haven't had them on in a while. Bishop Canevin. Bishop Canevin. Moving into, we mentioned before, they're moving in to single A. They play in the Eastern Conference. It's a non-league game with Clareton Greensburg Central Catholic. Bishop Canevin made it to the 2nd round of their playoffs last year in single A. They beat Greensburg Central Catholic, who's now their division rival for them. This pitch toss here to Ham. Ham cuts to the left side. He's going to be brought down just before the first down yardage here. And California will take over on downs with 48 seconds left, and they'll just run this one out and get the victory.
And you got to just take a knee here, but this California team kind of impressed us today with just how they handled this game, this week 0 game. Didn't know how they would handle it. Basically a second scrimmage, but it counts for standings, exhibition game, non-conference game. And they were a brick wall that Brownsville couldn't figure out until about 8 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter after being down 40-0.
And as we'll be seeing California in 2 weeks, like we mentioned before, again against Avella. Avella played a week 0 game today against Western Beaver, and they lost 12-6 in that non-conference game. Avella, what a great story they were a couple years ago, making the playoffs after almost losing their team altogether. We got to see Avella play Carmichael's last year. They held their own for the most part in that game, but they'll be staying as a Tri-County South rival and get Avella some more exposure here on CUTV. And always great coming to California High School. It's the concession stand or just a beautiful field. Just looking, I was just like looking in the background here. It's now dark out in the fields. If you can see a great view of the rolling hills here, the Mon Valley. Wonderful, wonderful stadium. One of my favorites. Actually, the first high school football game I ever came to out here in Western PA was at Trojan Stadium against Mapletown 2011. So
Mine was California Clarendon.
Yeah.
First time doing stuff for CUTV. And while the sun is in your eyes, however, when it's a nice kind of partly cloudy day, there's a beautiful sunset over the rolling hills.
Yes, there is. And that Mapletown game, they actually won. So that was great. That was a CUTV game as well. So that's actually what CUTV was, and it's been great. Is this final score here from Trojan Stadium will be 40-7. California grabs the week 0 win over Brownsville.
And again, we got to just thank the crew here again today. Wonderful job. Thank the crew. Gary Smith, our director and producer. Cheyenne on camera and monitoring the audio. Brett Dice on camera, monitoring the audio, and Ryan Kaufman running camera as well today. And Matt, it's been great announcing with you again.
Great to be back. And it's not going to have a lot of opportunities to announce. I want you. I want you guys undergrad to call the games. I've had my time, and now it's your turn to carry the torch. And with you, Danny Beck, Steve Ruffing, I'm really looking forward to see what you guys do on High School Roundup and calling these games this season. And if I come back on the headset again, looking forward to the opportunity. But we're going to have a great season on our hands, and what an exciting way to start here tonight, week 0, and this broadcast testing everything out. A successful job done by our entire crew. So that will do it here for Trojan Stadium. Your final score, California with a week 0 victory over Brownsville, 40-7. They will kick it off next week against Fort Cherry on the road. And then Brownsville, they will open the season. Actually at home against Bentworth. And for us, we're going to be in Jeff Morgan next week. We're going to be in Jefferson next week for Springdale at Jeff Morgan. Should be a great matchup, a kind of a unique matchup brought to CUTV this year. And then mentioned before, Cal's women's soccer coming up in 2 Wednesdays from now on the 7th. And then Cal Cheney on September 10th. First game in the Gary Dunn era, all live, you can see on CUTV. So, for Gary Smith directing and producing, Cheyenne White, Brett Dice, and Ryan Kaufman on the camera, and Anthony D'Agostino, my name is Matt Hagee. Thank you for watching the debut of CUTV's 30th season of calling high school games from California High School. Good night, everybody.